I'm a big fan of lives.
Pro-life
Good.
PFTeed.
I am pro-life, yeah.
Okay.
Big T
all right.
apparently not. That's fine.
Y'all are so stupid. It's
No,
crazy.
I disagree. The logic is pretty consistent, actually.
All right, we're back on Macrodosing. Welcome back to the show. Sorry I was a little bit late getting in the studio today, guys. There was some asshole was broken down on 90 in front of me, so I was stuck in traffic and had to flip him off and be like, "You piece of shit. Who does that?"
Jesus.
That happened to me yesterday. I broke down in traffic. I talked about it in part of my take, but it was a nightmare of a morning. I don't know if you guys ever broken down on a highway. It's bad.
Mm-mm.
Well, this car that you've bought seems to be
Careful.
a little more trouble than maybe
Careful.
it's worth.
The El Camino has been perfect for the last 3 months.
Wait, hold on. Oh, that car broke down?
Yeah, it's been perfect. I got it fixed at the start of the summer. It
Did
was
you?
great. No issues. Started up every single time. And then it cut out on me in the middle of morning rush hour.
What do you
as I
mean?
was on the
It just
highway.
stopped. It stopped working?
The entire car turned off. The motor turned. I shouldn't say the entire car. Electrical
this
is still working.
What? I mean, there's a lot of problems for a new car, right?
Well, it's not a new car.
Newish?
It's 64 years old.
Oh, you didn't get it like refurbished with like
Or
all
54.
new shit?
54. No, yeah, it's got like new. The motor's been rebuilt and stuff. It should be in good shape, but it wasn't in good shape yesterday morning.
Damn,
It's a bad feeling. You feel like the world's biggest dickhead.
pour one out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't think I did anything wrong. There's a tiny fear that I have that I'm going to get a call from the mechanic today, and he's going to tell me it's something really, really stupid that I did, and so it would be my fault. But I don't think it's my fault.
You've been going to the same guy?
Yeah.
I bet he loves you.
Well, I actually no, that's a lie. I've been going to. I went to the guy once, and then I had a phone call with him last week, and he's ordering me some more stuff. He was going to get me like seatbelts and stuff put in, because I don't have seatbelts currently in the car.
Nice.
But I was going to bring the car back to him anyways, and then yesterday happened, and so now he's got it. But I'm afraid he's going to be like, "Yeah, you don't have any transmission fluid in at all. You didn't check the levels."
That's kind of sick though that your car didn't have seatbelts.
Yeah, it is
Like
sick.
from a better time.
Yeah. I'm about
I'm
that.
pro wearing your seatbelt, by the way.
Oh, big government.
Well, it's a safe thing to do.
It actually is. I'm a big fan of seatbelts.
You could talk me into it not being mandated. Like if you don't want to wear a seatbelt and you get killed, that's on you.
Yeah, but then a lot of other stuff goes into that too. That affects other people.
How so?
So if you die in a car accident, and you have children, then you're
Okay.
not around to raise your children.
But again, that was a decision you made.
Correct, but that would affect everybody too.
Yeah.
If
The decisions you make affect people.
If you're the wage earner in that family and you die in a car accident and your kids lose their dad and then they don't have any money coming in, then they have to subsist on either government assistance or they have to they lack a lot of resources.
I am not
that children
disagreeing
and
with
parents
you.
have.
Not my problem, PFT. If you die in a car accident, I'm not paying for your kids, brother.
There you go. That's right. Why should Arian be forced to pay for your children, Big T?
That's theft. That's why you gonna steal
I
from
think
me,
you-
'cause your kids.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm saying that's why that would be a bad decision to make.
I'm in favor of more lives. I'm a big fan of lives.
Pro-life PFT.
I am pro-life, yeah.
Okay.
Big T
all right.
apparently not. That's fine.
Y'all are so fucking stupid. It's
No, I
crazy.
disagree. The logic is pretty consistent, actually.
It also helps with insurance stuff. Everybody's insurance rates go down, fewer injuries, things of that nature. But I'm a big fan of seatbelts, for the record. Love seatbelts.
I used
Wear
to not wear
seatbelts.
seatbelts at all, dog.
Well, we know because
I
you were
was-
fucking.
That was not the reason. But I was just the cool guy that never did seatbelts. I was him. I used
Where-
to, and if it was one of the cars that like beeped while you didn't have it on, I would buckle it behind me.
I love that.
Yeah, I was that cool, bro.
Yeah, you should wear seatbelts even if it's just driving around your neighborhood because that's when most car accidents happen.
Yeah, my homeboy in college got in a car wreck, and flew out the window, and luckily everything he was safe. But I was like, okay, what am I doing here?
Yeah. It's important. My dad had a conversation with me when I was, I think, 12. He said, seatbelts and condoms. Always wear them. I was like, thanks, Dad.
I mean, that's
But
solid.
it just
Life
feels
is life, really.
feels so much better
Wish
to
I
not wear a
had that.
seatbelt.
Wish I had that talk with my father.
Good times. So we got to catch up on a few things before we get into the rest of the pod, which we're going to talk about ADX Florence, the Alcatraz of the Rockies, the federal prison in Colorado. It's one of the craziest places that we've built as a country. And there's some interesting history behind it. And the people that live there, too, the inmates. So we're going to have a big conversation about that. But some other stuff to get to. Jimmy Carter made it. We did not jinx him on Monday afternoon show.
I don't know that he did.
Yeah, so about that.
That's tough, man.
I was shocked.
So was I.
I mean, that he might be dead. I don't know what purpose there is to cover that up, but he might have already passed on.
So if they were covering it up, they definitely would not have released that video, right?
Yeah, I guess, but like, holy cow. He is a corpse. They
gave him a flyover, but he was passed out for the flyover. I don't know how you fall asleep during a flyover.
Yeah, it was bad. I can't, like, that's so sad. Like, living like that is infinitely worse than being dead.
Probably, yeah.
We don't know that.
I can only imagine. I mean, he has no clue what's going on.
See, Big T, I'm pro-life, so I understand why you wouldn't get this.
Right.
But every life is precious. And
right.
So I think that Jimmy should live his out. No, I saw that video. I don't know why it was taped. I don't know why the family let it get out. I think maybe they're just like, okay, we can celebrate Jimmy's 100th birthday. He's the first president to turn 100. Let's let people have a little glimpse into the festivities. But yeah, I think he's dead for part of the day, and then he just keeps coming back to life.
I think he's a vampire?
Maybe. I don't know, but I do.
He looks bad. He's looking bad.
I feel bad for him. Credit to his family, though, supporting him, helping him out.
Or is it the machines?
I don't know. I assume that when you have a family member that's that old and that incapacitated, it probably takes a lot of work and effort and stress from family members to
That's true.
Just make sure he's doing okay and to handle all the logistics and things like that. Probably not easy for them.
Not only that, though, I think when somebody gradually dies like that over the course of like a year, 2 years, it becomes a lot easier to, it's more palatable. So it's not like a shock to the system if somebody passes. So it's probably going to be easier on them when he eventually does, if he does.
Yeah, if he does. Yeah, probably a small sense of relief. And you've already started the grieving process.
Yeah.
It's completely different. But when my old dog Leroy, when he died, there was like a little sense of relief because he wasn't doing well, and it was. Right. I think that's easier sometimes than having like a shock to the system.
Yep.
But yeah, he might already be dead. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a great idea for a shirt. I don't know if we're gonna put it out, but we had a great idea for a shirt in the group chat. We're gonna have Jimmy Carter with the 100 on the back, and then Jimmy in baseball letters in the front.
I do want to. Jimmy Carter, incredible man, and God bless him. I do want to have a conversation about something that was recently shared in the media. Do you believe that he said, when asked about his 100th birthday, they supposedly asked him, "Are you excited about your 100th birthday?" And he said, "What I'm really excited for is to vote for Kamala Harris." Now, having seen this man yesterday, I have my doubts as to whether or not that happened.
What if Kamala wins Georgia by 1 vote? Like the second that mail-in ballot got to his house, like, Jimmy, hurry.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I have my doubts as to the last time he said anything.
Yeah, that might seem like a Ruth Conda thing.
Precisely.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The anniversary of that was very recently.
Was it?
It was like a week or two ago, I think.
To all those who celebrate, congratulations. Yeah, I don't know if he said that. Who knows?
I don't think he did.
We did have a VP debate last night. Maybe the most inconsequential debate, the vice presidential debate.
Sure.
besides that one Admiral Stockdale thing where he was like, "Who am I? Why am I here?" I forgot there was one. Oh shoot, I forget who was running against who, but the famous "You're no Jack Kennedy." That quote, that was from a VP debate where it's like, Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. I knew Jack Kennedy. You're no Jack Kennedy. That was probably the other memorable moment. But a whole lot of nothing pretty much happened. I was saying before we started taping that I was a little bit disappointed. I thought it was good for democracy, but it was bad entertainment.
Real quick,
No
before we go back
context.
to that, the You're no Jack Kennedy, it was in the 1988 vice presidential debate, and it was said by a Democrat. Do you know who that was?
1988, they were running with Dukakis as his vice president against Bush and Quayle.
Mm-hmm. It was said to Dan Quayle.
It said to Dan Quayle, who was that? Somebody from Massachusetts.
Hold on, I'll tell you where he's from.
Okay.
No, he was a senator from Texas.
Oh, Texas. Who was it?
Lloyd Bentsen.
Lloyd Benson. That sounds like a stupid neighbor in a movie,
Yeah,
like in a comedy, doesn't it? Lloyd Benson's back.
fucking Lloyd's at it again.
Lloyd didn't mow his lawn. So in the vice presidential debate last night, we had Tim Walz looking like Stu Feiner going up against JD Vance, and I thought they were going to kiss at the end. They kept agreeing on stuff, and they kept being like, "This is great. I agree. I agree with you on that. You're sounding like you're making a lot of sense." And I thought that Vance did a good job of trying to, he softened a lot of his previous stances. Some would say that he lied about some of his previous stances, and then Tim Walz would just be like, "Oh, that's wonderful." Like Tim Walz didn't understand the assignment, which was to like go after somebody. And then JD Vance was just doing a better job, I think, of looking polished. Walz gets excited all the time. He's just like kind of got excited, nervous energy. And he took a fuckload of notes. He took notes no matter if it was the moderator talking, if it was Vance talking. He just wrote down a transcript, I think, of the VP debate. So yeah, nothing really important happened, I don't think, last night.
I thought it was great, actually, man. It was good to see like civility. That was dope. People don't get along, we don't agree, for various different reasons. But I mean, shit, man. We don't gotta cut each other's throats, dog. Doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, I thought Vance was he was at his weakest on the abortion question, and then I thought
think he
Tim
was horrible
Walz,
the whole time. I mean, he just be lying his ass off. But
and then Tim Walz, I
This is
think, was
simple.
at his weakest when he said that he was friends with school shooters.
nah, Tim Walz's weakest part was when he obviously lied about the China shit.
Oh yeah,
And he started backpedaling like Deion Sanders, bro. Just own this shit. You lied, bro. I may have misspoke. Nigga, you lied. It's all good. Like, it happens. People lie. It's all good. So own that. He didn't own that shit.
what happened with that? It was so weird because he didn't. No one prepped him and said you're supposed to give your opening statement in the answer to the first question, whatever that question is. And the question was, this is a really weird question to start a vice presidential debate with.
I missed the beginning. What was it?
It was, would you support a preemptive strike against Iran?
Jesus. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, just diving right into it. It's like, what?
Okay.
No.
Damn. A little foreplay? You just want to go straight for it? Huh?
Do you want to, first question, would you like to start a war?
That's great. What did they say? What did both of them say?
I don't know. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I wasn't paying super close attention to their answers because at the time I was, not to brag, just got back from Iran. So I was a little bit tired. I was flipping over to the baseball game.
You got back from Iran?
I can see how that's confusing. Iran.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, bro. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I can see how that would be confusing. We're talking about Iran. Yeah.
I was like,
I ran last
Should have been
night.
paying attention to the question there.
Yeah. I ran 3 miles. So it was a weird question to start out with. And then Tim Walz just started answering the question. But you do have an opportunity traditionally in debates. They ask you that question or whatever the first question is, and then you just kind of give your opening statement about yourself. So he hung on to that. And then I think 2 more questions got asked. And you could tell in his head the whole time, he's like, fuck, I never gave my intro statement. And I had that thing prepared. And then they asked him a question about lying about being at the Tiananmen Square massacre. and he just gave his opening statement in response to it. That was kind of strange. Yeah, just say, listen, I was in Hong Kong around the time of the
because he was
protests.
there.
Yeah,
You like 3 or 4 months, dog. It's not that crucial.
yeah, he wasn't actually in the square watching the protest, but he was in the environment. And so he stumbled on that. And then when he said, I'm friends with school shooters, that was kind of strange. Obviously, he meant to say, I've become friends with school shooting victims and their families. But saying I'm friends with school shooters, that doesn't make for a great quote card.
Yeah, our producers would eat his ass up, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Mad Dog McKinsey would have that shit out before the episode even dropped.
I would never.
But I don't know. I took away. I like Tim Walz better than I like Kamala, bro. He's way better. Like, it's not even close. I would vote for him much faster than I would Kamala.
It seems like a friendly guy.
Well, not just that. I think he's very sharp on his policy, on his background, on his it's the way he does have every politician has talking points, but he was actually having a conversation with him like on policy. Like it was a very good. He had very good rebuttals. He was pressing him on stuff that I felt like he needed to press him on. Because he said, what did JD Vance say? He said something about you know how this is what I hate. I hate when politicians do this because Timmy did it too. But when they go, there's a 3-year-old girl in Maryland that I hate that type shit. But JD Vance said something about his mother. And something about healthcare. I forget what it was. And then Tim Walz said, I can't wait to talk to you about healthcare because Republicans don't have any plan for healthcare. And so it was a good sticking points, man. But I think he did a great job. Nobody was going to be swayed by that, but it's good to see that you have a competent vice president.
I think Walz won on policy and Vance won on style.
How do you see that? What kind of style?
Not that he came across as being super likable or anything, but he came across as polished, which is different. And who's to say what's important to have in a vice president? Someone that's polished. But I thought he did a much better job than I was expecting him to, in terms of just being prepared and just speaking well.
Oh no. I guess, he spoke well.
Yeah. But really, nobody's mind is going to be changed. They did go to the undecided
I didn't know he was
panel.
that young. He's 40.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that young. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was watching the debate with a friend of mine, and she said he got Botox. I couldn't tell.
Oh, JD Vance has definitely had work done.
Yeah, see, I didn't know, but she was like, yeah, he definitely had Botox.
He also has the most insane eyes I've ever seen in my life.
The memes are crazy.
What's the telltale sign, ladies? Give me like a, because I can't tell when motherfuckers have Botox. Like there's one, like older women in Hollywood I can tell because they can't smile. You know what I'm saying? When they try to smile, like their face stays the same. That's easy to tell. Like Monica from Friends and shit like that. It's very easy to tell. Even Jennifer Aniston. It's very prevalent now. But some Jones, I can't tell.
Usually, well, you're trying not to have it be noticeable. But usually when they have forehead Botox or forehead fillers, which is what I, again, allegedly think JD Vance has, you can't move your eyebrows that much. So his eyebrows are always very burrowed. And you can't see me, Arian, but you can't raise your eyebrows. And his eyebrows are very, very low and they stay like that most of the time.
Gotcha.
And then people also joke, which I don't think is maybe true, but people joke that he wears eyeliner.
Oh, word.
He does have
Derek Carr.
yes, exactly. He looks like Derek Carr a little bit.
It's like I think it's like the way that his eyes are. Is sunken the right word?
I don't know. It does have the mascara look or eyeliner look.
It's like his eyes are so bright.
His eyes are so bright, and then his waterline is especially dark, which makes it look like he's wearing eyeliner. It's very easy to poke fun at him.
You know what? Last night
it's a thing.
Made me realize I can't wait for politics to be stupid and boring again. I can't wait for politics to be something that your 70-year-old grandparents care about and then nobody else does.
Can I ask you guys something? When do you think I was watching a TikTok and they were talking about it. When do you think like Trumpism is gonna die?
When he does.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, because if he loses this election, he's gonna run again in 4 years if he's alive, and it's gonna be that is the Republican Party. It just is what it is. I don't know why
He can't run again in 4 years.
He said recently he would be done after
I
if he lost.
guarantee you, Big T, if he loses this election and he still has a pulse, he will run again.
He'll be 82.
You think he can? No, bro. He is the most egotistical.
If
maybe
the Republican
ever.
Party allows that to happen, that
You
would
didn't
be.
think it was going to happen this time. You didn't think it was
Big
gonna
T,
happen
you
this
said
time.
something very similar to that, I think, in like 2021.
That's true, but I mean that's unfathomable. That can't happen.
I think it might be more likely that one of his sons tries to run.
Nah.
Oh.
In which case, then
Please no.
then Trumpism is still around. I think what's going to happen is Trump's going to bow out of politics either after this is going to be his last election.
I'm taking this bet. I am taking this bet.
I think he's going to leave He's going to be like a voice in politics, but I don't know if he's going
We
to
got to
run
bet
for,
something big.
if he loses. I'm saying if he loses, I don't think that he'll run for president again. I think he'll just like start a news network or I don't know. He'll be a voice that is listened to by those in politics. But I think politics might get back to being boring again, which I would be very excited about. Just having a boring debate like last night.
Yeah, policy, substantive debate. Love that shit. But
Yeah.
no, he's absolutely going to run again.
We will see.
I'll take this bet. Let's
They
bet
went
something
to-
big.
They went to your panel of undecided voters after the debate was over.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Start about this?
It was an
Still not
all-time
sure,
panel.
head ass.
Yeah, they were just looking at the interviewer and they were like, "Oh, I hope he calls on me so I get to say something on TV." And then they're like, "Did anybody have their mind changed?" And this one guy who was definitely already a Kamala voter was like, "Yeah, I think JD Vance's answer on the 2020 election was disqualifying for me, so I think I'm going to vote for Kamala now."
Or took JD Vance denying it.
Yeah, it
Not
took
the
JD. Yeah, it took JD Vance. That's what it was. And if you look at a picture of the guy, listen, I don't want to be stereotypical. This guy
Let's
is
do it. Let's stereotype.
this
Fuck it.
guy is Big T's fever dream of what every liberal looks like.
Oh, please.
Who?
What is?
Let's see if I can pull this up here.
What network was it on?
I think it was on CNN. But yeah, Big T, you would take one look at the guy and you'd be like, yeah, lib. Big T would look at him and be like,
Is it the guy in the black suit with a silver tie?
no, long hair. This guy had long hair.
This guy.
No.
Is he have
I
a
actually
plaid
don't
shirt
know
on?
I don't know who the black shirt guy was going to vote for. I wasn't as sold on him being a lib. It's the guy, I think he's in the top right
Is
corner.
it-
Top right.
Oh,
He has a
this one?
plaid shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a world in which that guy is.
Oh, he might be super online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
But that skews to the left 9 times out of 10. But
Look at this guy, Big T. What do you think?
yeah, no, he's giving lib for sure,
Mhm.
but that's not my prototype. Hair is a natural color.
I actually, now that I'm looking at him more and you brought that up, this guy could be very active on 4chan.
Yeah, he looked like a school shooter, honestly.
He might like be the guy that makes the memes, like the first guy. Patient zero for memes. So yeah, let's get politics back to being boring again. That'd be fun.
You're a fan of it?
Yeah, I mean, it was boring TV, but at the same time, it's like this is probably closer to what we should be doing than yelling at each other about golf handicaps.
What a time that was. What
Mhm.
a time that was.
Also in the news, Diddy's in hot water. Have you heard about this? The rapper
He been
Sean
in hot
Puff
water,
Daddy
dog.
Combs is in the news. Apparently he's been arrested and he's in jail right now awaiting trial. But the news that came out yesterday was that now I think there's 120 additional sexual assault lawsuits will be filed against Diddy. That's a lot. That's a lot of lawsuits.
A lot of lawsuits.
How was all this covered up for 30 years?
I don't know. It's a good question because it was out in the open a little bit. I think Elon posed that question too, like who in the entertainment industry knew about this and hasn't been speaking on it. And then somebody dug up an old interview with Elon Musk talking about his good friend Diddy and saying that we text all the time. So I don't know. A lot of people had to have known about it, and maybe. Well, I think Diddy's probably threatened people to the point of silence. I think that's fair to say. Where a lot of people didn't speak up because they were afraid he was going to literally bomb their car. But yeah, it seems like this has been an open secret.
And then the other thing that he came up, the lawyers representing those extra 120 sexual assaults allegations, he said that some of the names that, you're going to hear that conspired are going to shock you. That's what he said.
So that guy, Tony Busby, he's a, can we call him, is he a super lawyer? Is he a mega lawyer?
Just the lawyer's cool.
He's a Houston guy, but no, he does like a bunch of high profile cases. Tony Busby is also the plaintiff's attorney in at least one of the lawsuits against Deshaun Watson. I think maybe multiple too.
Damn.
Yeah, this guy, he is a lawyer that loves the media, loves giving interviews, and he said the biggest secret in the entertainment industry that wasn't really a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken. He said that these are unprecedented in scope. So I don't think Diddy's ever getting out of jail.
Nah, he in there, though.
I think they might actually send him to Florence.
Beautiful synergy.
Are those are they federal crimes?
Yeah, he's charged with federal crimes.
Oh, really?
So these are lawsuits that just got filed.
Sex trafficking, brother.
Yeah, so he's not being charged with 120 counts of criminal sexual assault.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was state or federal what he was charged with.
No, he's got the feds up his ass.
Nice.
And I think the feds have like a 90-something conviction rate. And if it's true, I could definitely see he'll probably lobby to try to go to one of the nicer federal prisons.
Like the Michael Cohen one where there's no fence and you can order Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or Leavenworth, I don't think is real nice. I think that's probably one of the worst ones. That's where Chiefsaholic is right now.
I think it's Leavenworth, Atlanta,
Illinois has one.
and
Marion.
those are the worst ones that aren't Florence.
Yeah. So Diddy, you're fucked, buddy. Sorry.
Why'd you say that in a Canadian accent?
I don't know. What else do you guys want to get to? Big T, do you have any any y'all tell me this is?
Not really. No, I haven't seen anything from the Gen Xers recently.
Are you teed off about anything?
I mean, always, but none that particularly come to mind.
The Braves?
Yeah, they made the playoffs. They've had a ton of injuries. They're not a very good team, whatever. I'll be happy when their season's over tonight.
Well, hypothetically, what if President Carter passed away? Would that make the Braves team of destiny?
I mean, he would have to do it pretty quick because they need to win tonight.
Yeah.
He might already be.
Yeah, he might have already. And judging by the offensive performance they put out there last night, the answer to that would then be no.
Mm-hmm.
No, just kind of living, just getting through.
Appreciate that.
How about you?
Am I teed off about anything?
Yeah.
No,
Peed off?
Just my car.
PFTeed off. How's that never been a thing?
PFT'd off.
Never posted it.
I'm a little PFT'd off about my body.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
It's like genetically.
Is
or
this
what
what
are
we were talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about this before the show started, but listen, I love my body. I think my body's perfect in every single way, despite what the haters and losers might say, of which there are many. I recently, in the last 2 years, I've started developing tolerances for things that I never used to have tolerances for. So what I mean by that is if I'm having Lucy's, if I was taking Zen back when I used to use Zen, I would just take like a 2 milligram or 3 milligram, and then I would be fine taking that for years. I never really developed tolerances for things, so I never had to like up the ante and start taking higher doses, whether it's nicotine or even NyQuil. I was always a softie when it comes to NyQuil. Weed, kind of the same way. Never really developed a tolerance for anything. And then in the last, I'd say 2 years, my body started getting tolerant of things. So I have to take more nicotine. I have to take more NyQuil. I have to, everything except for alcohol. Alcohol has gone the exact opposite direction, where I used to have a very high tolerance for alcohol, and now I have a much lower tolerance. So I don't know what's going on with my body, but every substance besides alcohol, I'm developing tolerances for, and I have to use more of.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer.
That's a good thing to have a lower alcohol tolerance now, though, no?
Yeah, but it's also like I'll have a few beers and then I just get tired.
Oh,
Where I used to have a few beers and now I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you're just old, dog. That's all that is.
Caffeine, same way. Developing a tolerance for caffeine. In the past, I'd have a cup of coffee. I'd have to spend an hour on the toilet, and then I'd be jittery and ready to go. Now I have to do like 3 cups of coffee to have that same effect.
That's my other thing about drinking too, is I just don't enjoy it generally. But like I drink 2 or 3 beers, and then I just could fall asleep right there.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, well, now I have to keep drinking to power through this, and it's a whole rigmarole.
Yeah, that's
That's not my experience, man.
It's a whole ordeal. You don't get tired at all when you drink?
Eventually, as time goes on, but like, nah, I feel great, man.
No, see, mine's at the beginning. If I have 2 or 3 drinks, I'm dead tired, and then I have to drink through that to get back.
That's why you have to make drinks 3, 4, 5 real fast.
Yeah, see, and that's not enjoyable.
I could drink myself into slumber, but I don't feel tired when I drink. It's like a I don't know, I've said this on this podcast before, but it's like I'm not a very emotional human being. And when I drink, for whatever reason, it like lets that veil down, and I get to feel all these feelings that are buried under trauma. So I enjoy it, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's was it social inhibitor?
Sure.
It takes down your inhibitions. That's what I mean to say.
Let's call it that. Yeah.
Feel the rain on your skin.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that euphemism, man.
No one else can feel it for you.
It's my Serenity song.
What does that mean?
Mackenzie gets it.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
not for you. It's not for you. Don't worry about it. The girls that get it.
No, yeah, literally the girls who get it.
No, yeah, it wasn't for you.
Glenn Powell as a hint.
Okay. So I can I have a Serenity song?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
What the fuck is it? This me and you just have a song, bro.
Okay. What style of music do you want?
It's got to go like that poppy white girl shit, because that's what they do. So let's
Okay, poppy white girl shit.
Yeah.
You know what song that popped up on me the other day that I put on my my white mix? It's what is it called? Hold on, I'm gonna get this because it's important.
After you find it, can you name me like 5 or 6 songs that are also on that? I'm curious.
Yeah, I kind of want it.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, the I saw the sign.
Yeah.
That one.
Yep, Pretty White.
Other John, Skyfall.
I don't know what that is.
By
James
Adele.
Bond
You know,
song?
that's the Skyfall.
Like from
Let
James
it
Oh,
Bond.
yeah.
Jewel, You Were Meant for Me. I fucking love that song, dog.
That's a good one, yeah.
Dog, it's a fucking banger, fam.
And I was actually, you know what is another good Jewel song is Foolish Games.
I don't know that one.
And these foolish games are tearing me apart.
I love that melody. I'm in. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Another one is Dancing Queen by ABBA. Bro, that shit's classic, though. That's one of my favorite melodies of all time.
I
dog.
think that's so classic that it doesn't fall under the purview of white. I think that's everybody.
Nah, it's white, dog.
They're Swedish, right?
Something like that.
Swedish is actually white.
I saw the video a while back. It's pretty white, but it's so you can dance.
Yeah, but everybody
Oh my
loves that
God.
song.
It gives me butterflies just hearing that melody, dog. I love that shit.
My Serenity song might be Everywhere by Michelle Branch. You know that one?
No.
'Cause you're everywhere to me. I
Oh,
can't
that
sing
is
it.
a good one.
When I
yeah.
close my eyes, it's you I see. That makes me believe I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
I've actually been seeing that song a lot on the Chinese app where I'm not going to say it so it doesn't pop up even
What is
more.
the Chinese app, bro?
The Chinese video spyware app.
Oh, TikTok.
So because I don't want the phone to populate more of these, but there's a university. Can you guess what school uses that song in its promotional materials?
No.
It's close to us. When I close my eyes, it's
Oh, I have seen
UI.
those too. Yeah.
University of Illinois.
UIC.
Chicago.
Yes.
UIC. Okay.
So I've been seeing a lot of videos with that used in promotional materials for that school.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a cute little jingle to have.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Notre Dame should do Indie Club.
Can you elaborate on that?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
You can find me Indie Club.
I'm
my
sure
God.
the
Against
Notre
their-
Dame football attendance crowd would love that.
Yeah.
Me and Madeline just went to a game a couple weekends ago. They would not stop playing that Crazy Frog song.
Oh my God.
It was,
Really?
It was the worst.
What was the average?
What is the Crazy Frog song? What is
It's
it?
like
Oh, you want to talk about white people songs?
Yeah.
Crazy Frog in 2004.
yeah.
That was.
It was like without
Crazy
the
Frog?
lyrics too. It was just a beast.
See, now
That's
Arian knows that
Teenage-
Beverly Hills Cop,
Oh yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. That's what it is. Yeah.
Axel F.
Yes. I didn't know that y'all had rebranded that. Okay.
Wait, so is that something else?
Have you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop?
No.
Yeah. It was I don't know if it was the theme song, but it was a major song in the movie.
What's it called? Like a motif? It was a motif in the movie. It was like a little melody that popped up all the time. It was basically the theme song of Beverly Hills Cop.
Like a transition scene.
Yeah.
I was not aware that Crazy Frog was co-opted.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
No.
It was a co-opted piece of work, yes.
Wait, yeah. There you go.
Axel F is an electronic instrumental track by German musician Harold Faltermeyer. It served as a theme song for the 1984 film Beverly Hills Cop.
Mhm.
So is that what Crazy Frog is?
Yep.
Oh, you thought it was reversed?
Well, no, because Crazy Frog's from 20 years ago. I just didn't know that it was a thing before that.
It's also a very strange song for a football team to play in their stadium to amp up the crowd.
You know
Yeah,
what
it was
my
bizarre.
favorite football stadium hype shit was, bro? Zombie Nation 2000.
Oh,
Fam. That shit got me so like I love that shit. They played in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at Baltimore, I played there 2 or 3 times. That shit got me hyped, dog, and the crowd started jumping and shit. Woo! Let me miss my old life, man.
Y'all tell me this.
Uh-oh.
Why is Michigan's song Mr. Brightside?
So
That's everybody's song.
So,
Right
and I
side,
want
I
to
gotta
talk about this as well. So, in the last 5 to 10 years, but more on the lower side of that, every school has decided that they need their song to play between the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Which, like, some schools had previously, but some didn't, and, like, you know, it was just whatever. But now every school has decided they need one. Tennessee sucks. It's Friends in Low Places. Horrible. And so, like, Michigan, I guess, decided on
Wait,
Mr. Brightside.
You don't like that song, or you don't like it in a football environment?
I don't like it between the.
Yeah,
If,
okay,
if Tennessee's up 3 on Alabama going into the fourth quarter, I don't need Friends in Low Places
Yep.
coming on.
Agreed.
And they did it
Mickey Mouse.
because Garth Brooks performed at Neyland Stadium, and then they started it after that a few years ago. Dumb. We don't need that. Michigan, I guess, decided that theirs is Mr. Brightside, but now they've gone a step further and have claimed that, like, they own the song.
What?
Like there was a thing. White Boy Rick I saw was tweeting about it that, like, they claim to other Big Ten fan bases that, like, you can't do anything with Mr. Brightside. That's our thing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, so a song that's been around for 20, 25 years, however long, and they say it's theirs now because
Yeah,
they
like-
started playing it recently.
Some places try to co-opt Seven Nation Army. Like, this is our song?
Yeah, I think that's like a during the game thing. But everybody has recently started doing one between the third and fourth quarter. Like Oklahoma just started doing Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue after Toby Keith died.
Okay.
Which is like, I see an awesome song. I don't know that I need it every football game. But
yeah. Wisconsin does it, right? Oh, no.
They have Jump Around.
They have Jump Around. Ohio State does Hang On Sloopy.
I don't know what that is.
Hang on, Sloopy. Sloopy, hang on.
Oh.
That's why y'all need to watch every now and then. Tune into a HBCU game. The bands go crazy, bro. Way better.
I saw an awesome video. I forget what it might have been. Florida Southern. Their band was in the stands, and there's a tuba player.
Florida A&M.
Maybe it was Texas Southern. I think it was Texas Southern.
Okay.
Yeah,
TSU.
yeah. And there was a tuba player in the stands. The band was playing, and this dude goes up and starts heckling the tuba player. Like, I think he's talking about the ball game. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's like right in the tuba player's face and like pointing at him. He's got a beer in one hand, talking shit, and then the tuba player in the song punches him in the face 4 times and gets right back to playing the backbone of the beat.
Love that.
It was wild.
Love
It
that.
was a wild, yeah. When you're getting your ass kicked by a guy who's holding a tuba, that feels very emasculating.
Yeah. I think stadium fights should be prosecuted less.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah. It's like these are safe. This is a safe zone, safe space. You can fight within the.
That could get dangerous pretty quickly.
It's okay.
There was at the Falcons Saints game on Sunday, there was a dude getting like stomped out.
Oh yeah, I saw that. 2 Falcons fans.
I think it may detour some stupid actions. You know what I'm saying? Consequences to your actions here. Like if you want to act out, you can legally get your ass beat in this arena. I'm okay with that.
They do that in South America sometimes.
You could get killed in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you think going to like an Eagles game is hard, if you think that's tough, if you think stepping into like Neyland Stadium is tough, if you think going down to the U back when they had the Orange Bowl, stepping into there, if you think that was tough, watch a South American soccer game where they have chicken wire that's in the stands keeping the fans in their sections. Because if they had fences, people would climb over the fences. They've got like sky high wire, and they have like very, very strict rules in place about you're not allowed to sit in this section at all if you're wearing a certain color shirt.
That's
and then they throw darts at each other and shit.
There are games like Argentina, Boca Juniors against River Plate, I think are the 2 big teams. Like you couldn't pay me. I would never go to that game under any circumstances. Like people die every year.
Yeah. They've got so many flares in the crowd that it looks like it's on fire. What's that, the Ultras? Is that in Turkey?
I think that's just a general term for like soccer fans.
I thought
I
thought it came from Turkey though, because there's one game every year. I think it's like a Turkey game against some Turkish club against some other Eastern European club, and it's like known as the most violent soccer game. Year in, year out. There's like brawls on the subway going into the game. There's brawls in the stands, brawls outside. People run on the pitch, beat each other's asses.
Love that. More violence. We need it.
Here's an article from 2018. 2 Boca Juniors supporters murder a River Plate fan in aftermath of Libertadores final.
That shit crazy, bro. You
Dude,
imagine
like,
being that passionate about your sports ball team,
bro,
It's
they
hilarious.
kill people. I want to say it was in Argentina also. There was a game where like fans dismembered a ref.
Yeah.
What does dismembered mean? That's so specific. They took this nigga limbs.
Yes.
That's crazy work, bro.
Bro, like they will kill people for that
They
shit.
should. If that's the case, then the refs need a ref in like masks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
ski mask refs. That
It's
would
a
be lit,
dangerous
though.
job.
Just aesthetically though, your refs is masked up. That's kind of fire.
Maybe give the refs guns too.
Let's get it cracking. I'm all for blood sport. I love it.
They're wearing like the Punisher mask, and they've got like
Oh, yeah.
they've got a sidearm, and they're carrying like an AK.
Love that. Oh, and then Halloween's coming up. You got the Scream mask just to switch it up.
Yeah,
I
That'd
love
be
that
fun.
shit.
Real quick. So it was in Brazil in 2013, and it seems like the facts may be a little more muddied. The argument started over a red card. It escalated when the referee fatally stabbed the player.
Oh,
It ended when the player's enraged family members stoned the referee to death and dismembered his body. So it seems like the ref might not have been completely without fault.
Yeah.
In that.
You can't be doing that.
But yeah, dude, like soccer in South America, not a joke.
Love this.
They make us look like bitches up here.
Yeah, y'all ain't really fans. You
Yeah.
ain't really with the shits. You don't
I
really
agree.
love Tennessee, Big T.
Not enough to kill. Well, not enough to get killed.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I've been mad enough at times that I probably could have killed someone, but I not enough to get killed.
Yeah, you wouldn't give your life for it.
Like I've been to the most hostile environment I think I've ever been to was the 2022 Braves Phillies playoffs. I went with Smitty in Philadelphia, and that was rough. I don't know that I'd ever like those people are fucking mean, but I didn't fear for my life.
Yeah.
You know who's with the shits? PFT. Brother, when you turn around and told that dude to shut the fuck up, and it's that was some of the most gangster shit I've seen at a sports venue, dog. Like, you was just hype, enjoying yourself, and he turned around and said, shut the fuck up. Why don't you shut the fuck? No, I got me hype. I was ready to ride with you, dog. Ready to ride with you, dog.
I was just excited. I felt the spirit in me. What can I say? I wasn't I wasn't trying to fight the guy or anything, but he needed to shut the fuck up, and he was trying to bring me down, and I was not going to tolerate that. I paid for my ticket just like him.
That's a very calm way to say what you said.
Yeah, I did tell him to shut the fuck up.
Y'all
You was with the shits, bro. you was ready to go there if it had to go there. That's the kind of PFT energy I need.
To be fair, I also had Max next to me, who's a big boy, and then I had Ryan Rosillo also next to me, who's also a big boy. And I know that, like, I don't think Max would hurt a fly. I think, if it came down to it, Max, he can handle himself, I'm sure, just fine, but he's not a violent guy. Rosillo, I love Rosillo, and he's not a violent guy either, but I think he's always just, like, secretly hoping that somebody's going to try him. Just so that he can prove to himself, like, still got it. He's a big dude.
Is he quiet?
Yeah, he's pretty quiet.
He
does do a podcast by himself where he talks the entire time. So,
well, I'm talking about
not always quiet.
You know what I mean? Podcasts don't count. You have to talk. But like, if he's out and about, is he kind of reserved and quiet?
Yeah,
that's them the ones that can fight.
Yeah. I think Ryan could do some damage, and so I wasn't actually thinking about it at the time, but maybe it was in the back of my head where I felt secure speaking my mind to this guy because Ryan was just waiting for an excuse to do something. And I don't think he'd fight. I think what Ryan would do, he would get the guy in like some sort of very muscular hold and just pin him in an emasculating fashion and just like calmly walk him out through the concourse and just deliver him to a security agent. Be like, here he is. Y'all got it from here.
I love that. I love to seeing you in that light, man. It was a good moment for me. I love that.
Appreciate that.
Y'all weren't there, but Madeline was at the 2022 Tennessee-Florida game. There was one Florida fan who was at the game by himself behind us.
Oh my God, yeah.
Who was one of the most obnoxious. It takes a lot for me to, like, you know what the deal is. You're going to a college football game. But this guy was just unbearable. And so he was doing a lot of talking. And finally, I turned around and started going back at him a little bit. And then he actually left when we went up. We were up 17 or 18, something like that, like late in the game. And then they came back and got the onside kick at the end and had a chance to win. And if he had been there at that point, I think there may have been some sort of altercation.
I forgot about that guy. Yeah.
That game got sneaky close at the end.
Not sneaky. It was. I was on the verge. I would have jumped off. It would have been really bad if we had lost that game. Really bad. And there was someone else with us who the Florida gets the onside kick at the end, and this guy's just going, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" And I turned. I said, "You guys shut the fuck up right now. I'm on the verge of suicide. You guys shut the fuck up."
I wonder who that could be.
It was it was a hell of a day.
Big T, I don't like springing surprises on you. You know that about me.
I don't like surprises either.
I know you hate surprises. That's such a funny personality trait to have. I don't like surprises.
Madeline told me she had a surprise for me earlier. I was like, I don't want surprises.
It was a good surprise,
but it was
though.
good.
Why don't you like surprises? Trauma? Like what?
I like to know what's going on.
I love
you know,
surprises.
That's why you don't like doing drugs too. You like to feel in control.
it's part of the reason.
Yeah.
I want to be prepared for all my emotions. Yeah.
I don't like
That's what-
unpredictability.
Let me set the table for how I'm going to handle this situation. How about you?
So Big T, not to surprise you, but we just finished our Dingers Only League on Part of My Take. We do a fantasy baseball league every single year, and the loser has to pitch 2 innings against a college baseball team. Max lost this year, so Max is going to be pitching. We still need to find what college baseball team we're going to do. I lost last year. I pitched. Big Cat was the catcher. So this year, the second place finisher has to catch. It's like one of those things where you finish in last, you get a punishment. But if you finish in second place, not second to last, but second place overall, you also get punished. So I finished in second place. I beat Big Cat by 1 home run this year. So that means I have to be the catcher. Jerry was also in the league, so he has to play in the outfield. Jerry was the ump last year. And it was a funny visual because Big Cat is a bigger guy, Jerry's a smaller umpire. It was funny looking behind home plate at the two of them. I'm going to be the catcher, and we want you to be the umpire. Because you will, one, I will look very small next to you. I'm a much shorter person than you are. And 2, because we know that you are
much
actually
shorter,
going
very, very short.
very much way shorter. And 2, because we know that you will call the game with no shenanigans, and you'll actually like take your job relatively seriously when it comes to enforcing the strike zone.
Okay,
Do you accept?
we could potentially make that happen.
Okay, I like that. Umpire Big T.
When is this?
We don't know yet because we have to find the team that's going to allow us to do it. So last year we did UIC, and I don't know if they're going to invite us back this year because they didn't really hit that well against me. Not that it was me. I was throwing too.
So you need like a potentially really good college baseball
Well,
team.
that's the thing is they were really good. They ended up being a very good team last year.
But you want like a really, really good
They
one.
just weren't ready for my 69, 70 mile an hour fastball. It was too slow for them.
Would you be willing to travel for this?
It depends on what team.
Let me talk to some people.
If it's who I mean, it's really the only school I would think of for you.
Just let me talk to some people.
Okay.
But
I would
these
say
guys,
that-
bro.
I would say yes, we would probably travel for that. But yeah, Big T, umpire. I think you just give umpire vibes anyways.
Fact, like voluntary umpire, like he'll just do it in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
I would like umpire like little league games or something for
That's what I'm saying.
$50.
Hold on, what if they don't got a budget for it?
I'm not going to spend a Saturday doing that for free, but
I got you.
some of those, if you get up to umpiring like high school baseball, like I had a buddy in college who umpired JV high school games, and he said it was the best job of all time because the coaches don't care, the parents don't really care, and I think he made like more than $100 a game, something like fairly good money for being in college.
Yeah,
and he was
solid
like,
work, yeah.
and you wouldn't get yelled at. He was like, it was the best job ever.
It's the power of a union.
Yeah.
You remember when Joe West
armbands?
tried to make the armbands a thing for the umpires unions? That was so funny. But unions are in the news.
But
You
my
wanna
dad texted me.
Yeah.
It's like it was like this big ass. You need to stock up, son. Because I told you my dad be on the other side of TikTok sometimes, and he told me all these essentials that I need to buy because the ports are some of the ports. They got some striking workers. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, the longshoremen are on strike. They walked off the job on Tuesday. And so it's basically all the main ports on the East Coast, going from Boston, I believe New York or New Jersey, Wilmington, Baltimore. What else is there? South Carolina, Savannah, Jacksonville, I think. All those ports and along the Gulf. So like Houston is shut down. I think New Orleans might be shut down. All the workers walked off. They're asking for a new contract, or I guess their contract, it expired. So that's the reason why they walked off the job. They don't have one in place. And America has gotten introduced to the president of the Longshoremen's Union, who is like a cartoon character.
He's funny, dog.
He's a wild guy, and he's not afraid to like say what's on his mind. So he was given an interview the other day, and he was like, "I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen." He's got this crazy like Boston accent. He's like, day one, it's going to be all over the news for the first week. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to hear about it every day. Week two, you're not going to be able to sell cars because no cars are getting off. You're not going to be able to go shopping for clothes because all the stuff we've imported. Week three, people are going to start getting laid off from their jobs because they don't have anything to sell. Basically saying like, we run this shit. Everything that comes into the country comes through our ports. We control them. We're the ones that work. So we're going to shut this thing down, and then you'll see how much you actually depend on us and how much power we have in this union. And people are freaking out about it because it could be a big deal. The longshoremen do have it's a very important part of the American economy to import shit, take it off a boat, load it onto a truck, and get it sent out. So they do have a lot of power, like them or not. Whether or not you like them flexing their power in this way, these guys actually have a lot of shit that they're responsible for, where if they stop working, everyone in the country is going to feel it eventually. So I do think that this is going to be a big deal if they don't meet the demands. And it's interesting to watch people react to it, because I think some people are saying like, oh, this is a liberal thing, like pro-union, pro-worker thing. But I think the president of the ILA, I think he's a big Trump guy. He at least has met with Trump a few times. And I think if anything, this is going to fuck over Biden and the Dems, because it's going to be a big issue that happens to their economy right before the election. So it's not as simple and black and white as being like Dems, Republicans. It kind of like crosses into both sides of that aisle, who it's helping out, who it's affecting. But it's interesting though, because these guys, there are a lot of people that have jobs that are important for the entire economy that don't really get thought of as being powerful. You think of powerful people like senators, politicians, CEOs, but you don't really think about the power that those workers have until they actually start to use it.
Yep. Classic class wars, class struggles. Karl Marx is smiling somewhere in his grave.
Yeah. So they're asking for a pretty significant pay increase. And I read, of all places, an article on Breitbart that was actually, it seemed like it was very pro-union, and talking about why they're asking for so much money. It's for a couple reasons. So when you see like, oh, they're asking for a 70% pay increase, I think that's over the next like 6 years or so to gradually get to 70%. 70% seems like a pretty big pay increase, right? But they're also going back because their last contract, they asked for like a cost of living increase that didn't actually keep up with cost of living because of inflation. So they're asking for more money this time to recoup some of the money that they negotiated into their last contract that didn't end up benefiting them. And they're also building in the added cost of future automation that's coming. So automation is a big sticking point. Whether or not anything in these ports can be automated and done with computers, done with robots, done with AI, they are 100% against that. Which I'll say I agree with them. I don't think that, like we talked about it with that Luddite author that we had on about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in favor of. I'm a humanist. I like humans. I'm pro-human. And so I like humans making money. I like them being able to have good jobs. And the future of automation in the ports, they can try to slow it down, but they know that it's never going to be like a non-factor. They know at some point parts of their jobs will get automated. And so they're asking for a big pay increase, knowing that down the line, some of them are going to get laid off because of that very threat, no matter how hard they try to fight it. So that's their angle on it. And then the other side to it is these guys, if they shut down the ports, they're going to end up costing people jobs all across America that have nothing to do with their struggle, where they're fighting for a pay increase.
I hate that argument, though.
It might end up costing people a job if you work like in retail in Missouri.
Yeah, but I hate that argument though, because you're that's the leverage that corporations hold over workers. is you're gonna fuck other people. Well, just stop fucking your people, and we all live happy. Like, this is very simple, and but argument bothers the shit out of me because it's like they hold people's livelihoods over other people's heads when you can easily make the decision.
I think
It's
that
bothersome.
the part that pisses me off the most, I think, is seeing like software developers be like, "Fuck you, we're gonna automate your jobs," and like specifically saying that like learn to code to the longshoremen, that sort of thing, because what they're saying is we have power in our jobs to make your job eliminated, but we're pissed off at you for using the power that you have in your job to make our job harder.
Yeah, technology gonna come for everybody, so you need to have some worker solidarity. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, instead they're like, "Fuck you. I can make your job. I can eliminate your job if I code hard enough, if I develop software. But you're also not allowed to use your power to prevent me from doing that."
Yep.
Like it's a very interesting look into what power is.
Oh, expound.
Because you don't think that people that make, $20 to $30 an hour work in a blue collar job have power.
Oh,
because
I do.
Because people have tried to prevent them from having power.
But
the reality is, when the rubber meets the road, the people that work on these docks actually do have an enormous amount of power. They just don't flex it that often, and when they do, people get pissed. But the reality is, if they all stopped working, if they stopped working and didn't go back to work for the next year, we'd be fucked.
Yep, and
that is power.
100%. That's all workers do in every industry, from football, from college athletes to pro athletes to truck drivers to everything. They have the most power, but they collectively don't see that. And some do, but for the most part, and a lot of it is like branding from these corporations. We'll find somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Just that we'll find somebody new shit. But if you have worker solidarity, you can get the conditions that you want. You can get anything that you want, fair pay, all of that, if you have solidarity. This is what Marx always talked about.
Also, that dude that runs the ILA, he's got a very sketchy past. We'll say it that way. He's been investigated for racketeering. The charges were dropped. Big T, why were they dropped again?
The main witness against him was found rotting in the trunk of a car.
Yeah. Also, that main witness, he was also mobbed up. We don't know if it was related to this thing that he had going on, or if it was related to any number of other business dealings he had with the mob.
Sure.
But the reality is, he was the main witness. He was found dead in the trunk of a car. And this dude has allegedly close ties to certain families.
I don't know about that.
Certain prominent families.
That doesn't surprise me.
In the New York City area. Yeah, I'll just put it that way. So regardless of what you think of that guy, though, the reality is that his workers do have power if they choose to exercise it together. And it's probably going to end up fucking Biden. I think that's what I would imagine, is that if they go on strike, the economy takes a noticeable hit. Everybody's like, Biden, what's up with your economy? I think that hurts the Dems.
Which is why I don't understand him not exercising the Taft-Hartley, I believe is what it's called.
He doesn't believe in it.
Right. So he has the ability to basically filibuster the strike and make them keep working for, I think, 90 days.
But then the president of the union said, that's fine, put a Taft-Hartley on me, make me go back to work for 90 days. You know what's going to happen? You think these workers are going to keep doing their 30 pulls an hour? No, they're going to get down to 8 an hour. We'll just pretend to work. It's basically
right.
What
So
he said.
I guess what I need to know is, do y'all like this guy who bragged about crippling the economy and
No, we don't. No. Don't think about it like I like an individual, right? Think about it like I like what the gesture stands for, and what PFT was alluding to is that workers hold all the power. That is the leverage. If every Amazon warehouse worker, every Amazon truck driver decided to tell Jeff Bezos, we're not going anywhere till you give everybody health care, till you give everybody a pay increase, Amazon will shut the fuck down. there will be no Amazon. And then you have to acquiesce to those demands. And so the reason why CEO pay and labor pay there's been like a 3,000% increase is because there's no checks and balances. And the checks and balances you have is the leverage is saying, well, I'm not driving the car, but they hold people's paychecks over their head, or you either do it or somebody else does it. That's what to me this represents. It's class war, it's class struggle. And I like what that represents. It's people understanding that your leverage is your labor, because these CEOs, these corporate owners aren't going to do. They had a great idea. We all believe that they should be compensated for that idea, but the company don't run without the workers. The workers are the company. This is basic stuff that we believe in. I believe when I say I'm pro worker, that's what I say. I believe in fair wages. I believe in healthcare. I believe all of this stuff. And so I don't give a fuck what he's done in his past. I don't give a fuck what he's representing. To me, is the very idea of America. People should be able to have one job and support their family, and not worry about I think it's like 70% of America or something like that can't afford $1,000 emergency or something like that. That's crazy in the richest country in the world. That's insane.
Okay, so that's a good point. Does it change your mind at all that these guys actually make a ton of money, and they were offered a 50% pay increase and denied it, and they want, I believe, 77%? Most of these guys are making the plurality of longshoremen in New York in 2018. This was before the increase from the previous agreement. Most of them were making, not most, the plurality. Were making between $150,000 and $200,000 a year. And they declined a 50% pay increase.
If you're a capitalist, though, wouldn't you say, like, if it comes to sports, are you in favor of players getting as much money as they can?
Sure. But the capitalist argument for this is if you can cripple the economy by these people not working, and then that's a matter of national security, and those jobs need to be automated.
I don't know if that's necessarily
crazy
good. That's not good though. Like if you just put a bunch of people out of work. They're in the top 5 to 10% of income earners in the United States. They were offered a 50% pay increase and instead chose to shut down the economy.
This is what I'm saying. So instead of looking at it like,
that's different than Amazon workers making $7 an hour.
But this is what I'm saying, bro. The value that they provide to the economy can cripple the economy. Therefore, their value should be more. This is simple economics.
I agree. It's a valuable job. They're compensated in the top 10% of Americans.
You pay them what they want. This is not hard. You pay them what they want. Because if not, what's the alternative? We don't get clothes. We don't get food. We don't get cars imported in here. They're telling you our value is higher. I'll show you how. This is what I don't understand is we will bang, right? If I'm on the right side of the aisle, we will bang for large corporate interests, billionaires having free reign to do whatever they want to do. But when it comes to the workers that are doing the work, asking for a little bit more, we're like, you guys are fucking greedy, dog. This is ridiculous. I don't understand this sentiment.
But they're not asking for a little bit more. They're asking for a 77% increase. And they were offered 50.
Give it to dog. They literally wheel in everything that you like, from food to clothes to cars to TVs. They are responsible for taking it from overseas and putting it here. That is the economy. That is the economy.
I guess what I don't understand from your perspective is you say you're anti.
You do.
No. I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I don't understand this. You're generally anti like greed, you say, right? Like the corporate owners and stuff being greedy.
Yes.
Well, these guys are set to make over $250,000.
All right. So here's
they're stalling the economy to get even more than that. I would say that's being a little ridiculous and greedy.
I believe you've fallen for corporate propaganda. Okay. So what I say is this. It's very similar to what we did on this podcast, right? I believe that because you put in so much work into this, you should own the means of production. You should be a part of what this podcast makes, right? You agree with that. You put a lot of the work in. We fought for that. We got that, right? Same veil. Because corporate CEO, they make so much money, they take away a bigger piece of the pie for doing less labor, right? And so I believe the workers that make companies go, the Amazon truck drivers, the workhouses, the sanitation people, all these people that really make the economy go, that if you really pull them from their job and their workforce, you take away their labor, we fold as a country, we fold as a society. Those people should own the means of production, the labor that they put in, they should own a part of that. So when you're saying they're greedy because they have enough, I'm saying whatever their demands are, it's not the slice of the pie that their value, correlated with their value. That's what I'm saying. And I think if you look at it from your perspective, right, from how we have done this podcast, you can kind of see how it's changed the quality of your life, and it will change the quality of their life because their value.
So then, so then, what is the number?
I mean, I would have to really look at their P&Ls in order to do all that. I don't know. Even you telling me that they're all this 50%, I don't know. I would have to look at their numbers, but it boils down to the exact same argument that people have been having for decades. This is a labor issue. Means and production. What is the real value of a worker? And to me, this is why, like, so like ownership in sports leagues, right? Like, I believe that owners should absolutely have enough revenue to keep the company going and to live your life comfortably because you come up with a great idea or whatever the case may be, or you bought the team, whatever. But the people that make the brand, that keep it going, they should absolutely be compensated unbelievably because they make it.
I also think it's a very good thing if you can have blue collar jobs that don't require a college degree that end up being very good jobs.
Yeah,
I think
there are a lot of those.
I think that's a great
Plumbers make a ton of money.
Yeah, you shouldn't tell people like, oh, you're going to end up working on the docks your whole life. Like, wouldn't you rather go to school and get a degree and like work in corporate America? No, having like good jobs for people that don't have a college degree, that maybe for whatever reason maybe couldn't get into college, maybe something happened to them in high school. I think that's a very good thing.
I'm not saying I don't want these people to make money. They're very well. Is there a number, Arian? Because I guess this is what it gets down to.
Right.
If they said we want a 400% pay increase, would you then be like, I don't know about that?
I don't. If you cannot sustain, that's where I would draw the line. If you cannot sustain the business with the wages that you pay your workers, that doesn't make sense. And like I said, I don't know what they're asking for. I don't know what they're making. I would have to really dig into the P&Ls and all of that stuff. But like I said, like when you said, do you like this guy? I don't know this guy. He could be a piece of shit. I don't know.
He seems like a piece of shit.
But what he's representing is the same plight that workers in this system have been. It's the reason why we have unions, because there has to be some kind of regulatory system that keeps CEO paying check. If you look at it from like I think it's the 60s, like I said, the pay increase from the ownership versus workers has increased by 3,000%. Now, either there's only one or two things going on. Either we're crazy or CEOs are just taking more of the pie. It's what Bernie ran on. And to me, it's wild because you'll see Democrats and Republicans alike. They're both independents. Everybody runs out. We're for the workers, but there's not much policy that really indicates that they are, and it's bothersome. That's why I'll critique Democrats just like I'll critique Republicans. Like, we live in a low-key an oligarchy where we massage the backs of major corporations and we give them tax breaks, and that's all we care about. And so I'm for people. I'm for, like, if you work at the grocery store, you should be able to have a good life working at the grocery store. Like, you should. Like, this, I believe in that. But I mean, I don't understand it, but I hear the other side of the aisle saying it's not hard to do that. But, like, I don't know. What do you want people to do, man? Just die? I don't get it. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like that's what Jesus would do.
I guess the fear is that that they're asking for so much money that they'll end up putting those companies that employ them out of business. But I would have to assume that they would have a pretty good idea of what they could be paid without costing them their own jobs.
That like I said, that would be the line that I would draw, because how can we pay you more than we're intaking? But I don't, like I said, I don't know the numbers.
Yeah, until you see the numbers and see how much money they're making, it's kind of like one of those things you have to be like, okay, I assume they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. But like I said,
it would not be self-serving for them if they were to say, we're going to go on strike unless you pay us each $1 million a year.
Yeah,
Because then the companies would be like, well,
we ain't got it.
I guess we just can't do business anymore.
Mm-hmm. We don't got it.
Yeah, so who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be Biden coming out as saying I don't believe in Taft-Hartley. It's kind of wild.
I had never heard of Taft-Hartley.
Because that's a law. And for the president to be like, yeah, I don't believe in that. That's the most like pro-worker thing that Joe Biden's ever done, I think. That's wild. He's basically saying, I don't believe that the federal government has a duty to tell people that go on strike that they have to go back to work, which is something that was written to the law.
Mm.
If it's in the interest of national security, then the president can tell them to do that. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm just not going to do that.
It's pretty lit, actually.
The thing is, so I think the president of this union, I think he's friends with Trump, or at least friendly with him. I think he's a Trump guy. And Biden is going to say these very pro-labor things. And ultimately, the guy's not going to give the Democrats his support, I don't think. So it's like Biden kind of shooting himself in the foot, but I guess in a way standing up for what he's claimed to be all about his entire career, which is for the worker.
And see, that's why I hate this part about politics, right? Because they have to lobby to the American people, and they kind of have to grandstand with like in certain stances that they have. So like, for instance, JD Vance got hit with the question yesterday about, because like Trump needed something to run on, right? Because they had an immigration bill all ready to go, bipartisan. Everybody agreed on it. And then Trump got a hold of some of the senators and said, don't sign it. I need something to run on. And so it's like, if you really cared about the border, and if you really believed it was harming the American economy and then people, then you would urge people to get it done no matter whose administration it was under. But because he needed something to run on, he told and had the power in the Senate to say, no, veto that shit. And a bunch of senators corroborated that. And so it's like, I hate that. Like Joe Biden should do what's best for the American people and not what's best for, because an election is coming up. I hate that shit. It's just so greedy.
This is a guy that is not running for re-election, who doesn't give a fuck anymore, who doesn't give a fuck about election.
His party is.
His party definitely does, yes. Yeah, Democrats will get out there and they'll be union busters just like anybody else if this actually goes through.
So like Kamala's going on, like she went on All the Smoke podcast with a couple of the homies that I know, and she's talking about how she doesn't believe anybody that goes to weed and nobody should go to jail for marijuana. And I'm like, y'all ran on this shit 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's bothersome that here we go with these same old talking points. Like, do the shit. Like, you grandstand for people just to get their votes. I hate that shit, dog. Do the shit.
Did she really say that?
Yeah.
She loved putting people in jail for marijuana 15 years ago.
The facts are a little muddied on that, brother.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, it wasn't as much as you think. I think it was like 100 or something like that from my it was a talking point that the right was using. But
if you do it once, that means you're not opposed to it.
No, she fought. I don't want to misspeak because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it was nowhere near it was nowhere near the numbers. We could fact check this, but it was nowhere near the numbers that they were putting up.
As the San Francisco district attorney,
don't have me banging for Kamala, please.
She oversaw more than 1,900 marijuana convictions.
But you have to look into all of it. You know what? I'll put it aside and I'll come back with the facts of it, because I looked into it a while back, because I agreed. I used to feel the same way, but I looked into it and it wasn't the case. But
it's one of those things where some of them might have been like use of or possession of a firearm while selling weed, while selling narcotics.
It was a bunch of nuance involved that I don't remember exactly, so I can't speak on it right now.
One more thing about the strike. This is, I'm genuinely in favor of the working class people flexing their power whenever they can, because if you look at who feels the bad effects of any sort of like economic blip or any sort of like international conflict, it's always the people that make the less amount of money in this country. It's always the poorest people. Like if a CEO has to take a 50% pay decrease, they'll be fine. They'll figure out a way. They might not be able to do some of the nicer things, go on all the fancy vacations that they normally go on, but they'll be okay in the long run. They'll have a comfortable life. But when things go to shit, it's the people that are, by and large, like the blue collar workers, people who are like on the ground doing the work. They feel the effects of small changes way more than anybody else. So if they're going to be a little bit greedy, or if they're going to ask for a little bit more than you think that they should, I'm more willing to be like, okay, get what you can. Get what you can while you can. It's like the NFL.
Yeah, man. Get them.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's. I think this is going to be a big story.
Yeah, I do too. That's what my dad was like, yo, stock up on toilet paper, paper towels, canned goods, shit like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So before we get to ADX Florence talk, brought to you by Stella Blue. I had Stella Blue this morning. I had a cup of Joe. Finally tried the maple pumpkin pie coffee. It is perfect for fall. Today felt like fall when we woke up, right? It was like 59 degrees this morning. A little chill in the air. Soup season. Pumpkin pie season. Apple crumb cake season. Smells better outside. It's great. Great time of year. And it is a great time for Stella Blue. If you're tailgating in the crisp autumn, or if you're cheering from the comfort of your couch, our new maple pumpkin pie and apple crumb cake blends are the ultimate game day companions. The maple pumpkin pie is creamy. It's classic pumpkin pie. It's got buttery pie crust flavor. It's got a touch of sweet maple syrup. And the apple crumb cake, that's delicious too. I love that one. Flavors of sweet apple, cinnamon, brown sugar, all wrapped up in a rich buttery crumb finish. Available in both ground coffee and the K-Cup varieties. These seasonal flavors will fit seamlessly into your coffee routine. Grab Stella Blue Coffee's limited edition fall flavors today at StellaBlueCoffee.com or Amazon. Use promo code MACRO. Enjoy 20% off at any order of $25 or more on StellaBlueCoffee.com. Make every day, every game day a victory this fall. Make every day a victory this fall with Stella Blue. I'm going to finish my Stella Blue right now. It's good coffee. That maple pumpkin pie is legit. Okay, let's talk ADX Florence, the Alcatraz of the Rockies. Badass name for it. Also, ADX, that's a nice menacing acronym that they put at the start of it. Doesn't it just sound, it sounds scary?
Sounds lit, man.
ADX. Sounds like, I would actually say that ADX and YSL should change names.
YS.
Because YSL is like the softest sounding acronym that you can have. But they're bad. They're like for real.
So
have you kept up with the YSL trial?
a little bit. That's a wild thing. It's actually interesting because like I think didn't a judge do some faulty shit and they caught him?
The prosecutor.
No, it's Fannie Willis, the Trump prosecutor.
What's his nickname for her?
I forget.
No, I'm saying the judge got caught like holding a secret meeting, and the what's his name, Thug's lawyer called him out on it. He's like, "How'd you know about that?" And he was like, "Don't worry about how we know about it. We just know that."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, how do you know about it?" He like took a recess and everything because he was pissed because it is a whole, but it's a long ass trial, dog. This is going on a while.
Is that when the lawyer got arrested for contempt?
Yep, got arrested in contempt because he wouldn't tell him how he found out about the secret meeting that he had.
But now recently, the prosecutor did something. I didn't read up all on what it was. But.
Yeah, this one was the prosecutor, but yeah, there's been some other stuff that I think he's going to get off.
I'm not following it like super in detail, but like I follow this account that gives updates every day, and I don't check it every day, but every now and then like they're really hopeful. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's a lot of charges you got to evade for that shit though. But I
think there's like 3 people that have come up as witnesses that have said like I don't remember.
Who shot?
Just
I
like
don't remember.
Yeah, changed their testimony or gave different accounts as to what they told the police earlier. I think he's going to get off. I think this dude Brian Steele, that's the attorney. I think he's going to get him off. We should actually do a deeper dive into the YSL trial.
Oh, that'd be fun. I'm down.
I've watched a couple courtroom clips, and it's interesting for sure.
What does thug stand for? Truly humbled under God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. You did, of course, brother.
Everybody knows that.
Tupac had an acronym too. What was Tupac's acronym for thug? Let me see. I forgot.
Thug, THUG, truly humble under God. But you won't hear that from the prosecution.
Oh, Madeline's favorite author, Jeff Pearlman, is finishing a Tupac book right now.
Here it goes. Pac said, "It's thug life." Tattoo was an acronym standing for the hate you give little infants fucks everybody. Hey, I love Pac though. No Pac shade, but come on, fam. Come on, fam.
So ADX Florence, ADX stands for, I think it's was it adult detention maximum, something like that. But it was created in Florence, Colorado, because in like a domino way of Alcatraz. So the original Alcatraz out in the San Francisco Bay, I think that was.
Hold on, this is even funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, there's people that defend that shit, right? That's what it means. But the I in life on his thug life tattoo is a bullet. And so the hate you give little infants is a bullet. Like, come on, come on, man. Let's keep it a bean. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Also, ADX stands for administrative maximum.
Sorry, administrative maximum. Yeah, administrative maximum.
Fact check him, Maddie.
I appreciate that. I was told there'd be no fact checking
Sorry.
on this episode.
I can't believe that man said that, dog. Big T, did you see that?
I didn't watch it. I did see the clip, but you're slightly misrepresenting it because he was going on to clarify a point that they were misrepresenting.
Why would you ever say that?
Yes, he shouldn't have said that.
That's hilarious. Whoa! I thought there was no fact checking. That's just a funny thing to say.
And then they turned, I think, both his and Tim Walz's microphone off because they were like yelling at each other, and you could hear him in the background. They're like, "No one can hear you. Stop."
I love that. I loved that, by the way. More cut mics.
They have the power.
Yeah, there you go.
So this ADX Florence prison was created in a roundabout way because of Alcatraz, which I think that was open for like 40 years in the San Francisco Bay. It was like the most hardcore of the federal prisons. It had a lot of bank robbers. I think a couple people might have actually escaped from Alcatraz, but they never found them. They never found their bodies or anything. But they say that they died crossing the bay. There's sharks and shit in there, also bad currents. The water's cold. So they're saying that there's no way they could have made it to shore alive, but no one ever found them. So who knows? Maybe some people did escape from Alcatraz, but Alcatraz had to shut down because, you know why, Big T?
I don't.
Because it's hard to get food and groceries and everything delivered to an island because there's no longshoremen out there.
Is that true, or are you trying to?
No, I'm serious. Like all the stuff that you have to use in that prison on Alcatraz, it can't come from that island. It's a tiny little rock.
Right.
So they have to get it taken out on a ship and dropped off. They didn't have like clean water, drinking water on the island. All that had to come from elsewhere. It had to come from San Francisco or Oakland. And every material that they used had to be brought in from the outside. So it was super expensive to run it. And also the location of it, if you've ever been to San Francisco and you've seen the bay, like a lot of fog, a lot of salt in the air. So it started to gradually just affect some of the structures and made it just start to break down. So instead of paying a lot of money to keep updating, they're like, this is kind of stupid. I mean, it's kind of cool to have a prison on an island, but let's open up some other place. So then they opened up a prison in Marion, Illinois, and that was Marion State Penitentiary, I believe. It was built to replace Alcatraz. And so the theory at the time was if you take all the bad guys that are in other prisons, it's like one bad apple is actually ruining America's prisons, was the theory. Where if you take the biggest troublemakers out of all the prisons and you put them all in one really bad spot, then the rest of the prisons will get a lot better. Which I think I can see the logic behind that, right? I feel like a lot of teachers feel that way about their classrooms too. Like if we just didn't have like one or two of these students in every class, our school would be a utopia. And then somebody steps out and then other students step up and start acting like bigger knuckleheads.
That's
So
hilarious that your analogy for prisons is a school. This is a classroom. This is a classroom.
I feel like this is
Fucking
something
wild.
this is something that every 16-year-old has when they smoke weed for the first time and they listen to Rage Against the Machine. They're like, they built fucking prisons and they call them schools, and they make us go there. And if you don't go there, dude, your parents can get arrested. They will fuck your life up. It's the government, and it's trying to brainwash you.
Colleges are kind of designed after prisons.
Some of them,
They're put in usually pretty secluded locations, self-contained, to keep everybody like there for the most part.
yeah, or cults. They're kind of like cults too.
Texas A&M and Clemson.
A&M, yeah, for sure. So the theory was take all the really bad guys out and put them in one super secure prison, and then let them just be handled basically like insane people. Like have a very high guard to prisoner ratio, so the prisoners are never like interacting with each other. They're never an opportunity to get in trouble, be violent. So that was the theory for opening up the Marion State Penitentiary, and that was the highest security facility in the entire country. And there was a bank robber who was a member of the white supremacist Arian Brotherhood gang. His
Whoa.
name was Thomas Silverstein. How do I say this?
How do you say what?
I'm trying to think of the right way to say what I want to say now.
Well, we wouldn't know.
Is it
Do you know what I'm getting at?
I truly do not.
He was in the Arian Brotherhood.
Okay. Oh, I do.
The man's name is
I do.
Tom Silverstein.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Silverstein.
Right. You do what you got to do in prison.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll just roll with it. We'll just keep going.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this.
Yeah. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that was in fact his name, and he was a Nazi.
That's funny. You do got to pick sides in them prisons, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they just didn't do a lot of. I don't know, man. Maybe
think
a lot about his last name. I don't
It's
know.
purely skin deep.
Yes. So let me give you some advice if you get into prison. If you ever find yourself in
Apparently.
prison out there,
what
you
I'm
go up
saying.
to the biggest, baddest dude on your first day, and you give him a big kiss in the face. Just kiss him right on the lips. That's the best way to get by in prison. Right?
I had my homeboy, yeah, sure.
Just smooch up.
My homeboy's dad, he came home one time and he gave us some advice. He said, boys, if you ever find yourself in prison, he said, this is what you do. He said, the first day you walk up to any motherfucker and you just punch him in his face. And we like, bro, what? And he's like, that's how you gotta do it. Let the motherfuckers know you ain't playing. I was like, well, guess what, dogs? I'm gonna follow these laws because I'm not gonna do that, dog. What the fuck?
You didn't have to do that in your 6 hours?
Nah, they took me straight to the cell.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah, I was dolo. That'd have been fucked up if I had a little celly.
I had cellies.
Was you actually in a cell?
I was in a cell, yeah.
You had more than one?
I had 2 or 3 cellies, I think.
What?
Yeah.
You can't say, how long were you there?
I
think you were in a holding tank, bro.
I got in, I think 13 hours.
You have to be there for a minimum of a month to say you had a celly.
I had a celly for like 12 hours.
Yeah, no.
I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, there were 3 other guys that were in there.
That's like people who say they lived somewhere for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What's
I
the
didn't get
cutoff
into
for
any
that?
fights.
What's
I was
the
actually
cutoff
just
there?
going to ask that. How long do you have to be somewhere before you can say you lived there?
I would say 6 months. You have a good understanding of how.
Oh, I would have said even lower than that.
Okay, what you
3 or
got?
4 months.
Okay, yeah, I'm with
If
that.
you're somewhere
Yeah.
for 4 months, you lived there.
If you
Yeah.
have a job in a place, I would say that you live there.
Like if you studied abroad, would you consider that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
depends how long.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say like
misogynistic.
But yeah, a semester, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, misogynistic there, Mac.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
I got it.
I don't get it either.
I got it.
A broad.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have never gotten there.
No, that does not count as living there.
It took me a second, I guess.
Okay, so this Nazi Silverstein, he stabbed a guard who went by the name of Merle Klutz. That's a bad name.
Wow.
Sorry, Merle. But he stabbed him. He was a guard, stabbed him 40 times. Klutz died.
So many times.
That's a lot of times.
Like your adrenaline has to, by stroke 30, your adrenaline has to die down, no?
40 times it's personal.
Yeah.
It's like, or either that or you're just insane, like
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of like, I don't know if you'd call them true crime, but I've seen a lot of these like police interrogation videos, and whenever there's somebody that's been stabbed a bunch of times, or if it's like a very violent death in a murder, it's always somebody that's like close to that person because emotion, you can tell that there's like emotion in it. Whereas if it's something that's like a business deal gone wrong or something like that, it's usually not, I guess it's still violent because it's a murder, but it's not like overkill.
Being stabbed gotta be like top 3 worst ways to die.
What are your worst ways?
Stabbed, drowned.
Oh, drowned. I'm so afraid of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you just know there's nothing you can do, and you're just and maybe like plane crash.
Oh, God.
Plane crash would be bad.
Anything where there is imminent death, but you know it for 2 to 5 minutes.
Skydiving and your chute doesn't open.
Oh, yeah. But
It'll be
stab
fun
just
for
in
a
terms
little
of the
bit, though,
pain
you know what I mean?
too.
Yeah, if you just embrace it,
I feel like you might pass out.
you might.
You could. Yeah.
Your body might just say,
So that might be.
Oh,
I'm checking
fire,
out.
bro. What are we talking about? Fire.
Fire's
Ooh.
bad.
But remember, it burns your nerve endings off, so it's not that bad it's only bad for a little while.
He said, remember.
We've talked about this.
I
think.
know, but this is the funny thing.
Yeah. Stabbed, though, just in terms of repeatedly getting not good.
And it takes you some minutes to.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, not a good. At 40 times is a lot.
Well, this is actually a wild stat. So I think the latest data, depending on if you're an asshole or not.
Which one is an asshole?
Data.
I feel like that's what I say.
I go back and forth.
Asshole. Data.
All right.
Data. Oh, you know what? I'm cool with either one. It's data say. That's the one.
I've never even heard of
Yeah,
that.
what's that? I never want to hear that again.
If you know, the data say. You know what I'm saying? I know data
yeah,
is plural.
yeah.
Yeah, I know data is plural.
I see.
But you're just showing that you know that it's plural.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, bro. Because the data says. But I feel you. It rolls off the tongue easier.
See, I always I know that you're supposed to say, like, if I was saying PFT is shorter than I. That's what you're supposed to say. But you sound like a piece of shit asshole. Not saying he's short for saying is shorter than
both.
I.
I think both. You sound like a
Yeah.
dickhead.
So I always just say me,
What
even
about-
though I know it's wrong.
What about RBIs? They should really be R's BI.
So
Wow.
I if you ever write RBI lowercase s, you're a loser. But if you also you should say RBIs.
You should wait. You're saying you should
Okay,
never
so-
write RBIS?
Right. It's just RBI. Runs batted in.
Got it.
But
yeah.
when speaking, I would say he had 112 RBIs.
Yeah.
I never
you
thought
should-
about that RBI.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like MLB baseball, Major League Baseball.
Oh yeah. I haven't really
Oh,
thought
wow.
about that. NFL
Chai tea
football.
is like that too. Chai tea. So chai, I think in India is how you say tea in language in India. And then so saying chai tea is like saying TT.
Big Chai.
Big chai. I like that.
Yeah.
Big
like that a
chai.
lot. Yeah.
That's kind of lit though, Big Chai. I might change your name on my phone to Big Chai. Bro. That shit kind of lit. I like that shit. Matter of fact, fuck it. Here we are.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Chai.
Also, that you live in Chicago. Big chai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that shit.
No, that could work.
I like it a lot.
You're Big Chai now, bro.
You ever think about
I need to update your picture. You don't have a beard in my picture here.
Oh,
Ugh.
oh.
Send me your a picture of
Well,
you.
I think
that's
like my Apple ID has one that like automatically comes up, but I'll send you one.
My brain has done a great job of eliminating beardless Big T from its memory.
Me too.
I can't even
I forget
remember that
about
day.
it.
Yeah.
You look like a thumb.
So
Oh, hold on real quick.
yep.
The data say
Mhm.
50 around 54% of murder victims were killed by somebody that they knew.
Yeah, it's usually the significant other or some sort of close relation that has to do with like inheritance or money.
That's wild, bro. So I think therapy can really help us out as a society, man.
Sure. Yeah.
Love it, Big Chai. Got it.
Or just how about this? If you're in an unhappy relationship, just get out of that relationship and don't murder that person.
That's hard to do, not the murdering part, but getting out of a relationship that you don't want to be in. That's hard to do because it's
Yeah.
like it's almost really it's kind of sweet actually. I care for your feelings too much to leave you.
But I would say that it's easier to get out of a relationship that you don't want to be in than it is to murder that person.
Depending on how your brain is wired, but I would agree with you.
Yeah, just leave that. Just break up.
Yeah, it's obviously an option for some people, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So this guy, Merle Klutz, this prison guard, he was stabbed 40 times. He died, and Silverstein thought that Klutz was harassing him. I don't know if that's true or not, or if it's just something that this guy made up. And then right afterwards, there was another gang member named Clayton Fountain, who killed another guard by the name of Robert Hoffman. And so that was in that same prison. And then after the murders, the prison officials said that we're just going to lockdown. We're going to the biggest lockdown you've ever seen. So they were in their cells 23 hours every day. Microwave meals were pushed through a slot in the cell door. They didn't have any physical contact with anyone. No visitors contact, none of that. When they were allowed outside their cells for that 1 hour, they were put in the leg chains and the handcuffs. And then they had a black box over the cuffs to keep them from picking the locks. And that was a lockdown that lasted 23 years.
That's a tough 23.
Yeah. You ruined it for everybody else. You just had to kill the second guard. So 23 years in almost 100% lockdown. So then they started building more supermax prisons across the country. And the warden that was responsible for making this Marion prison that went on lockdown was consulted to help design the new most secure facility in the country, ADX Florence. It's like between an hour, 2 hours south of Denver. It opened up in 1995 as the only supermax prison. So there's a lot of maximum security prisons. This is the only supermax prison. It's in Fremont County in Colorado. And it already had 9 prisons at the time of its opening. But they said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's pull together another $160,000 to purchase 600 acres for this new prison because they're going to bring in about 750 new jobs at the prison. That's a wild county. Fremont County, Colorado has 10 prisons? Or did ADX Florence take some of those prisons away? It's like when you have a mom and pop like boutique store in Main Street and Walmart moves in. Does ADX come in and be like, oh shit, big prisons coming in. It's going to take away all the mom and pop prisons we got around here.
I'm looking up houses in that area to see what they're going for. Not as cheap as you'd think.
All right. Is Colorado the safest place for no natural disasters?
So no,
they have fires.
Naturally?
Yeah, they've got fires because it can't get very dry there.
Okay.
Low-key Ohio.
Ohio's the safest?
What are you getting in Ohio? Sometimes maybe a tornado warning?
Train explosions?
Okay, that's not natural.
That's true.
you could get a blizzard up there, maybe.
Yeah, you get a blizzard. What if Lake Erie just...
Caught on fire.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like Pacific Northwest, right? Like Oregon, Washington.
No, don't they get earthquakes?
Not really in...
Like
you
Southern
get
California.
some... But that might be a good point, Big T.
No tornadoes, no hurricanes. Doesn't really snow that much up there.
It just kind of rains all the
Just
time.
rains
Yeah.
a lot, yeah. And no floods really.
Very high rate of suicide up there.
That's true.
Yeah, you know what's crazy to me because it's like that's when I'm the most happy is with an overcast.
Really?
I
That's
love an
that's a
overcast.
song by
But-
Garbage.
You say what?
It's a song by the band Garbage. I'm only happy when it rains.
I haven't heard it, but I just feel you don't feel comforted by Mother Earth. She's like wrapping her little cloud blanket around you. No?
I do, but I think you also feel that way because you have the luxury of knowing that you're going to go back to the sun. So if it rained all the time, would you still love it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Why
San
is
Di-
that?
Why do I like that? I don't know. I think there's something about it's like a feeling of being like warm and cozy that it's just like a fall day when you have I could drink coffee now, but usually it was like hot chocolate and you just like snuggled up with somebody that you really love and it's like an overcast outside and the windows is you know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know. I love it.
Yeah,
I
but
like
those
it.
are made good by the fact that they're not every day.
Sure. Maybe. But I don't really ever wake up and there's not a cloud in the sky and I'm like, what a beautiful I was like, this is great golfing weather. I've just never really been moved by sunshine like that. It's okay. You know what I mean? I don't mind it. I'm very indifferent about it. But when it's overcast, I fucking love that shit. I just love it.
Okay, so this is a good opportunity to correct something here because Big T said that Washington, Pacific Northwest, high rates of suicide. I'd always heard that too. Turns out that's not true.
All
So
right.
So
My
I looked
fact
it
check.
up. And I'm not trying to pick on Big T because I thought the exact same thing too. But if you look up the suicide rate in the United States,
Oh, let us guess.
okay,
I looked it up
Um,
too, and I'm kind of right.
I would go
I'm-
New York.
I'm talking about like percentage.
Mm-hmm. Well, number one's Montana,
Yeah,
which is right there.
Oh, way to
Mhm.
fucking ruin it, big Jesus Christ, big.
Oh, well,
Ty.
you'd already guessed.
Yeah, but it took the fun of it. Fucking Jesus.
Idaho is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. Wyoming is 3rd.
yeah, it's the plain states. It's not really the
Wow.
Pacific. I guess you could say
Those are up in the Northwest.
Idaho has some elements of Northwest.
Those
and
are
some
3 of the
forests.
5 most northern West states.
But when you say Pacific Northwest, that means Washington, Oregon.
They're not that much further down.
Washington's pretty far down there.
Yeah, Oregon's not.
Oregon is like slightly
12th or
above
13th.
average. So yeah, Montana is number 1. Then you got Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, Utah, New Mexico. Those are the big
Damn.
ones. And
This
then
is
last,
when there ain't shit to do.
yeah. What is last? Is New York last? Massachusetts.
It's last.
I think it's last. Let's see.
They had a nice
It's
run.
tied with Rhode Island. No, New
No,
Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey's last place. And then Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, California.
Nobody kills themselves. You just get killed by the mob.
That's a good point.
At Cornell University, they had to put like nets under the bridges because so many kids were like jumping off the bridges.
the gorges, right?
Yeah, in Ithaca.
That's one of those weird, I don't know if that qualifies as being like mass hysteria or mass delusion, but you hear about people doing it and then it's almost like suggested in your brain that it's normal and that it's not like crazy to do that. And then more people do it.
Right, yeah.
Do you know the profession that has the highest rate of suicide?
I've heard dentist.
It's dentists.
What?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I guess that's a high stress job, I guess.
Is it? I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't know. No disrespect to the dentists out there.
I mean, they're doctors of the tooth.
Oh, you're saying they the most disrespected.
No, but that could be part of it, is that like they go to dental school for, as long as people go to medical school, and then they get, kind of thrown to the side. You're just a dentist.
Damn.
I think it has to do with the fact that you're staring into people's mouths all day. It's just kind of gross.
Yeah, not
There's
glamorous.
All these like abnormalities in there, and then you have like an hour to cure everybody that sits down in your chair. If you
I
don't
ain't been
fix
to the
them,
dentist in like 3 or 4 years, though. I gotta do that.
I'm with you. Mackenzie, what was that face? Was that a face of disgust at Arian and me, or was that a face of,
Damn,
oh
man,
shit,
hold
I
on.
didn't
No,
do
it
it either?
wasn't. It wasn't. I think like that's a lot of people do that.
Oh.
Like
I
I
just
think that's
forget,
like a normal
honestly.
thing. Same. I forget too.
Arian, I was thinking that the other day. Made an appointment. I'm going on Friday.
See, and this is where I always get to this point where like I'm about to, and then I'm like, fuck that shit.
Well, you go there, and then they're like, okay, so does Tuesday in 6 months work?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't, I have no idea.
You also don't want to be like Nicky Smokes when he went a couple months ago and had like 7 cavities, and he was like, "Well, yeah, I haven't been in like 10 years."
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, my shit pretty bad right now. I ain't gonna lie. Like I do keep up with like my own hygiene, right? I brush my teeth, I floss. Oh, I just got this one thing. It's with water, and
The
you
water
like,
pick.
Water pick.
that motherfucker hard, bro. That's different. You put a little peroxide in there. That thing. Yeah.
Have you seen the clip of Jeff T talking about Luka Doncic?
I have not.
He said the first time they played him, he walked up to one of the black players on the team. I forget who it was. And he was like, "Are y'all going to let the white kid get the ball the whole time?" And he said, that guy looked me dead in the eye and goes, "That motherfucker cold." And that's what you sounded like talking about the water pick.
Yeah, man. That motherfucker is cold.
It's like a frother for your mouth.
Here you go. You're obsessed, man.
So back to the ADX Florence thing. They built this prison again in a county that had 9 prisons in it. It's just known as a prison county. Kind of wild that that's a town industry, but whatever. You think that'd be fun? A fun town to grow up in?
I don't know. Like I said, I looked up some of the houses there, and I figured they'd be pretty cheap. They're not bad, but
Colorado's beautiful, dog. Colorado is gorgeous. Denver area, it is a beautiful. Aspen, dog. Colorado is amazing.
you can get a really nice looking house in Fremont, Colorado for $500,000. And this looks like it has some land with it too, maybe. 2.5 acres.
So
that's not bad.
City population 3,822 right now. If you grow up there, if you wanted to go visit like a prisoner, if you wanted to stop in and say hi to somebody that was just in a prison in your town, could you do that?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Should we try that?
Just go say, just so
I mean, I assume you have to know the name, but I guess you could find that through public record.
you can find that out at ADX Florence for sure.
And they just be like, you have a visitor,
yeah, Mr. Kaczynski,
and it's us.
somebody's here to see you.
What up, dog? What's good?
Yeah, just figured I'd shoot the shit and see what's up. What's cracking, big dog?
Let's just go to
Treating you.
let's go to the Cook County Jail and just find somebody.
Well, I think in this instance, it's probably a little bit, I assume it'd be easier to do because they're in such hardcore lockdown there that they aren't in a position to say, no, I don't want to take a visitor. It's like, would you rather take a visitor or would you rather just sit?
But I think it's much harder to be a visitor there.
Probably, yeah. So, yeah, it was built in Florence, Colorado, and it was on 600 acres. It houses 344 inmates. There's one of 6 security levels. It's designed to have up to 474 inmates, but it's never been at full capacity. They've always had room in case they have to bring somebody else in there. Most of the prisoners live in near continuous solitary confinement inside a soundproof 7 by 12 foot cell. They've got a 4-inch slit for a window. I think it's 4 inches wide, and I want to say it's like 42 inches long, and it's put in a place in the room where you can't tell where you are in the prison. So you don't know where, like, you just know that you're in a room. You can't look out and get any perspective and be like, oh, I'm on this side. I can see the shape of the rest of the prison. There's another unit over there. It keeps you very confused all the time, and it kind of drives you crazy. You've got a stool that's made out of concrete that's like cemented into the ground. You've got a stainless steel sink toilet combo. The toilet cuts off if it keeps running, so you can't flood your cell. The sink will not flood because if you're like trying to kill yourself in there or something, they have cameras on you 100% of the time. If you're in there, you say that You can't see anything. You can't see a highway in the distance. You can't see the sky. There's one inmate who spent 10 years in Gin Pop, and he said, the minute you get there, you won't see any sky. You're not going to see any of that, not for years and years and years. And then if you're on good behavior, you can earn 10 or more hours per week handcuffed outside your cell. So they will put you in a cage confinement or a concrete pit, which I've heard is basically an empty swimming pool that you can just walk around. I think it's like 10 steps if you walk from side to side, or if you walk the perimeter, it's like 30 steps. So that's your like rec time.
What good is that?
They should give you a skateboard. Right?
Handcuffed?
Yeah, handcuffed skateboard. Like if you hurt yourself, sorry.
I've seen like some prisons will have, and they don't put everybody out on the yard at once, but they have like a cage with a basketball hoop in it. Like that's at least, and work on your free throws.
You got something, yeah.
And just walk handcuffed.
Yeah. I think it's designed to make you crazy.
For sure.
Man, that's crazy, dog.
Can you imagine that? You never talk to anybody. The guards are told not to look you in the eye. They don't talk to you except to give you instructions. And if you're in like the highest security, the way that you get your meals, they've got 2 doors for you. So you open up your little slit to your door, but the food's already in there because the other door is closed. So you don't even see anybody sometimes if you're in there. You just get a knock, and then you open up your slit, there's your food, but you can't see outside your cell at all. That's got to drive you nuts, right?
Yeah.
Not seeing anybody, not talking to anybody, you get 1 hour out of your cell maybe. So if you're on good behavior, you get those 10 hours a week where you can go to the empty swimming pool and just walk. You can't see anything on the outside, by the way. The swimming pool is deep enough where you just walk back and forth and all you can see is the pool. You can have 4 15-minute phone calls per month and almost no visitation rights, it says here. So there are some visitors, but it's significantly restricted. There has been no escape. I think there's been 1 murder there since it's been opened, but nobody has escaped. The warden that served there from 2002 to 2005, his name's Robert Hood. He talked about being a prisoner at ADX, and he said that it's worse than death. As soon as they come through the door, you see it in their faces. That's when it really hits you. You're looking at the beauty of the Rocky Mountains in the backdrop. When you get inside, that's the last time you'll ever see it. Supermax is life after death. It's long-term. In my opinion, it's far much worse than death.
Damn. They got some all-stars in this motherfucker, though.
Yeah, they do. They've got quite a lineup there. So they don't allow any media interviews with prisoners anymore, so you can't really get that much of a chance to talk to prisoners about what it's about. ADX officials have rejected every journalist's effort to get face-to-face interviews with Supermax prisoners since 2002 because they talk about security concerns. They did have one exception. It was a supervised tour by select media reps in 2007, but it's been off limits to journalists since the September 11th attacks. That's kind of funny that they use September 11th as justification for not letting media interview prisoners.
What is the justification?
They're just like 9/11 security.
It's been used for a lot more than that.
You know how things are with 9/11. You can't interview a prisoner anymore because of Al Qaeda. They have done some interviews with former inmates. There was a phone interview with inmate Mohammed Salame, and they talked about how some of the prisoners would go on hunger strikes. So he went on a hunger strike. He went on 8 of them, actually. But that's a total of 428 days over the course of 8 different hunger strikes. And at some point, they force feed you because they can't have you die in prison. So they'll just go in, strap you down, put a feeding tube up your nose, and then have the feeding tube deliver nutrients to your stomach, or like mushed up food.
400 days over 8, so that's 50 days each time?
Yeah, that's the average, right?
Is that possible?
I guess you can have water and the feeding tubes too.
Oh, so that counts the feeding tube.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
no, you
well,
would die.
Yeah, that's not a hunger strike.
I would
That's
say
cutting off your nose to spite your face.
I would say if you're not
literally.
if you're not eating, I would call that a yeah. That's true. If you're not eating, I consider that a hunger strike. Now, if you're self-administering the feeding tube to yourself, yeah, that's bullshit. But if somebody has to come in and like handcuff you to a bed and force something down your nose, I'm going to give that guy credit. That's a day of hunger strike.
It's a gray area for me.
It's a tough day at the office. It's not like a how long can you go without food without dying thing.
That's what a hunger strike is. I'm not eating until you do what I want.
Yeah, and they can just
and they're
force
like, actually, fuck you. We don't have to do anything. We'll just shove this down your throat. So it's both ineffective and I would argue not a real hunger strike.
Is that an attempted strike?
Yeah.
Okay, we get credit for that.
Yeah.
So internationally, there's been a bunch of different courts, a bunch of different medical societies as well that said that isolation, if you're put in a cell by yourself, it's one of the worst things you can do to somebody. It's considered torture. And they see that the force feeding of the people as being a violation of prisoners' bodily autonomy. There was a force feeding. Well, one of the first known force feedings going back was in 1909 in a jail in Birmingham, England. There was a hunger striker suffragist named Mary Lee, and she had a tube inserted into her nose and a pint of milk and eggs poured down her nose into her body. In 1914, a physician named Frank Moxon described force feeding as a prostitution of the profession and that doctors were violating the Hippocratic Oath in the service of prison discipline. That's a gray area for me too. So the Hippocratic Oath, if you're a doctor, first do no harm, right? So are you harming somebody by jamming a tube down their nose against their will if it's giving them nutrients and making them survive?
No.
Yeah, so you have to do that.
But if the prisoner doesn't want it, because doctors have to respect, like if you write that in your will or your living will and you're in an accident and they're like, well, this person's going to die unless we can put a feeding tube in, and they look at your living will and they said, oh, he did not want a feeding tube, then they can't do it. So if you're alive and telling them, I don't want this.
So is the Hippocratic Oath, what does it say about euthanasia?
I don't know.
I think you can't do it.
Can or can't?
I think cannot.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it.
All I know is it's first do no harm, but there's probably a bunch of other stuff that goes into it.
But also, once you go into prison, you give up pretty much every right you have.
That's true. And in 1975, the World Medical Association adopted a resolution opposing forced feeding. In the United States, most courts have held that forced feeding is constitutional, including if it's done to maintain the security of a prison. But yeah, solitary confinement just as a whole, if you're not crazy already going into it, it makes you crazy. It will take a perfectly sane person and make them insane, just being completely deprived from any sort of contact with other human beings. We're social. We're like dogs. You need to have people around. It helps to have people around. Some people in this prison have actually completely disassociated from life and from reality, and they don't know that they're even alive anymore.
How long do you think you could just sit in your house with a TV and, everything else you've got and just sit there by yourself, not talk to anyone?
For the rest of my life.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
I think I could go a while, but
I got babies, so that'll hurt me. You know what I'm saying? But that aside, parenthood aside, yeah, bro, I'm chilling though. I don't need. I've seen it all. We're good.
It's so much easier.
You think that though, but
Yeah,
after a couple months of literally not speaking to anyone, you'd start losing it.
Yeah,
but
you would.
I still have all my shit though. I have the internet.
Yeah, just in your house.
Hell no, I'm chilling.
But you get on Valorant, you can't talk to anybody. You gotta just play by yourself.
Oh, it's even better. These motherfuckers are toxic. These comms are toxic. You know what I mean? I get called at 2 a.m. trying to rank up. Yeah, get these niggas up out of here. Fuck them.
I think you would. I think after 6 weeks or so, you'd start to be like, I want to talk to Big T.
I'm sure I was Big Chai. What's happening, baby? Had a ball.
Exactly.
I think after a while you would, I think it would lower my quality of life. I would probably die sooner, but I don't know, man. I am turning into a grumpy old man. I don't want to talk to nobody. Leave me alone. Get off my lawn.
I think Big T's right. I think you say that and then you'd actually start doing it. It'd be really nice for a few days, and then you'd be like, I miss people.
Certain people.
Yeah. So back to solitary. If you're not already insane, it will make you insane. It will fuck your brain up. People start just smearing their shit on the walls. Some people just completely disassociate from reality so much they start eating their own shit, and they lose track of where they are. They think that they might be dead. They don't know if they're alive. They don't know where they are in the world. They think maybe this is some sort of purgatory. It fucks you up worse than almost anything else if you just leave somebody in a room by themselves.
You know what I thought about? The Truman Show.
Yeah.
I don't think he would ever know anything different, because if he's born into that where he doesn't know anything else, I know the premise of it is like intuitively he knows there's something else out there, but I just don't think he would. Like how could you know that there's something else? You know what I mean?
I thought he saw a camera, right?
Yeah, I'd have to go
But how
back
do you know that? How do you know?
Because you know what a camera is, because the world that you grow up in, they teach you about stuff like cameras. You've got TV shows that you can watch and stuff.
So
I don't know.
it's
I
low-key
need to go back and watch it too. I
So it's
forget.
lucky on the conductor then, because why would you even introduce that there's an outside world? You could just have him. The town is the world. That's what he should have done.
Yeah, I gotta go
guess
back
you're right.
and watch that.
Yeah. I guess if you plant in the head that there is elsewhere, you'd be like, well, I want to go elsewhere. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's. It's been so long since I've seen it. I'll be honest. The first time that I saw it, I think it was in 7th grade. I was trying to make out with this chick that I took to the movie, and I didn't pay that much attention to it.
I had one of those. Elf.
Mission accomplished, by the way.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Riz her up in the Truman Show movie. Huh? I feel you,
Yeah,
dog.
it was sick. Yeah, I went to the Gap
Yeah.
afterwards. It was nice.
Yeah, you little Rizzler.
Yeah.
Little Rizzler.
Hey, see these khakis I'm wearing? Same ones from that commercial.
You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Mannequin drip.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got a button-up shirt that's completely unbuttoned and a white T-shirt underneath.
Hey,
You know how I roll.
The days, man. The days, man. Maybe some K-Swiss. Huh?
Oh no, I didn't.
You never did the K-Swiss?
Well, whatever. No, it was probably a second-hand shoe that was brought from Played Against
Y'all
Sports.
used to wear like Airwalks.
I never had a pair of Airwalks.
Okay,
But yes, that does fit in with the culture.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. The whole vibe with the unbuttoned shirt with the white tee underneath. Yeah.
Played Against Sports. Is that store still around?
I saw one the other day. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say 100% of my sporting equipment growing up came from.
I
Played
would
Against
go to a
Sports.
Played Against Sports right now.
I would too.
Good store.
There was a Just for Feet where I grew up. Yeah, I had a Just for Feet.
We didn't have it just. I had Payless.
Oh, definitely. You can get some good shit over there, dog. Especially if you're a woman. Y'all can high key dress very cheap and it look really good.
That's because they're women.
What does that mean?
Women just look way better than men.
That's true. That's true.
Dudes don't look good. Yeah,
There's
see,
some good looking.
Mad
Dog
Dog said that, and she loves dudes.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, you guys are gross.
It takes.
That's fact.
I think it's easier for a man to look gross than it is for a girl to look gross.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
yes.
Yeah.
But it is also easy for men to look better.
Yeah,
and
throw on
sometimes
a-
they just choose not
Choose
to.
not to. Throw on a polo. It's like really not that hard.
Yeah, what's up? Wearing a polo today.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Collared up.
There you go.
Same.
Yeah, it's not
let's
that.
go.
Like, it's easier for men to look gross, but then it's also easier for them to look like really good. Does that make sense? Your guys' bar is lower on both ends.
If
Yeah.
dudes just put in like a minimal
Yes.
amount of effort.
Yes.
If we put in 5 minutes planning what we're going to wear.
Not even. Yeah.
No, yeah, 5 minutes is a lot, but if you spend 5 minutes of your morning, then girls will be like, "Wow, you look nice today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at you."
Like if you're wearing a shirt that like doesn't actively have armpit stains in it, like
Damn.
you're good.
Eddie, we gotta get you a better pool of dudes, man.
Yeah,
This
that's
really sounds
crazy.
bad for Barstool Sports in general.
No, and I think I've said this before.
Musty ass niggas on your roster, bro.
Quote
I went in my
card.
closet the other day, dog.
No, see,
lie.
I've moved on from that. I've moved on from that part of my life.
There you go. She deserves better.
I deserve
go.
men who don't have armpit stains
Yep.
in their shirts.
Speak
I
on.
like,
Thank
I
you,
like that.
guys.
The
Let's
bar
do
is
it.
so low.
Good for
Bro.
you.
She's striking.
Tell her got her groove back.
No.
Let's go, Maddie.
Yeah.
I went to my closet the other day. I have like a bunch of these, plain black tees, plain white tees.
Perfect.
I'm talking about maybe. I looked at the other day. I maybe have 30 to 40 shirts like this, and I have no real clothes. I don't have adult clothes.
That's a lot.
But it's like find your staples and like go hard on those.
Get-
How
Every
many
color.
collared shirts that are not exclusively for golf do you have?
Oh, 2 or 3. And the only reason I have those is because I had to go to court. So and I asked my lawyer, I was like, do I have to do it? He's like, bro, put a collar. So I'm like, fine, whatever.
I mean, hey,
That's always, to me, the funniest look where a guy is wearing a collared shirt to something like court, and you can tell that he doesn't want to be wearing the collared shirt based on how that collared shirt fits. And based on, like, the level of care that he put into buttoning up the shirt, and, like, 2/3 of it is tucked in. Sometimes it's got the folding pattern still in it from when you bought it because you just took it out of that clear packaging.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck it, I'm not gonna iron this.
No, I did it well. When I actually have to do it, I'll do it. I'll clean up well. You remember when, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, Steve Urkel or Stefan Urkel walked into the room and the crowd go crazy. That's what you know what I'm saying. It's like I'll do it, but you know what I'm saying, it's not common. But when I do it, you know, I'm gonna get some looks. You know what I'm saying? PFT, when you walk in the room, there's a couple 50-year-old ladies that go, okay, hold on now.
See, I don't know what happened with the Truman Show. I don't know what the plot was behind it, where they let him know he had an outside world. But you are on the Truman Show if you're in prison in this ADX Florence place because you're always on camera. You got cameras in your cells. They see you in there eating shit. They see you in there just going nuts, going slowly insane. There is a place that was called Bombers Row inside ADX Florence. Bombers Row. And there were 5 terrorists that lived in the same block, same cell block. It was Timothy McVeigh, Oklahoma City bomber, Terry Nichols, also the other Oklahoma City bomber, Ramzi Youssef. Ramzi Youssef was a bomb maker for, did he work for Al-Qaeda or did he work for, he did the original World Trade Center bombing. And he also tried to bomb a bunch of airplanes and a lot of shit like that. Eric Rudolph, he was an abortion clinic bomber who also bombed Centennial Park in Atlanta during the Olympics. That's a Richard Jewell thing. And they had Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. So 5 bombers all hanging out together.
The Terry Nichols fella, tough break, getting life in prison in the worst prison that exists, but also nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Like all the other ones, household names.
Yeah.
That guy, he was the accomplice for the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, he was McVeigh's little stooge.
Yeah,
He came from the McVeigh coaching tree.
Should have researched that gig a little more.
Yeah. McVeigh and Ramzi Youssef, they would engage in political discussions. McVeigh and Kaczynski shared a love of nature. They shared a love of the idea of survivalism. And there was a Latin Kings gang leader named Luis Felipe. And he joined the prison in 1998, and he and McVeigh traded smut books between the cells. I don't know what a smut book is. Is that they would like draw pictures of naked chicks and just send those back and forth?
You ask, I don't know, bro.
Or were they like these books that girls are reading now, like the fairy porn
Oh,
stuff?
it might be, yeah. They were reading like fanfic.
Yeah. I don't
Y'all
know.
ever have
Just
slam
guessing.
books?
No.
What's a slam book?
Slam books was in high school. It's like a little book you pass around, and it's like Big T would have his name on the top of a paper, and then bunch of different like, hey yo, this motherfucker smells, dog. Like, oh my god, the ears look weird. So that people would just joke on your pay on that respective page. Like,
So we had Yik Yak which was an app that was the most, if you think Twitter, like if you think you've seen vile shit, this was an app where you could just anonymously post whatever you want, and it was contained to like a geographic area. It was made for colleges, but it made its way to high schools. And I mean, just the most horrible shit you've ever seen in your life was said on that thing. It was crazy because it was completely anonymous, so people would just let it spray.
Little early diet 4chan.
Yeah, it was horrible. It definitely shouldn't have. I think it like no longer exists because they got like I forget exactly what happened, but people Yik Yak was crazy.
There would be like threats of school shootings and stuff on there at colleges, right? Somebody
sure.
would just get on Yik Yak and say something and be like, "We got to lock down the whole school."
I'm sure. Oh, it relaunched in 2021. They're back.
Their
It's a big thing in
tagline is "Find your herd." That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a big thing in colleges now.
Well,
Yeah.
it was when I was in college too, but
But like it got big in college. Like they'll talk about like sororities and stuff. And yeah, no, it's probably the worst.
Still completely anonymous.
Yep.
It's not great.
Yeah, no.
I had the #1 yak one day at the University of Tennessee.
What was it?
Wow.
It was something about how cold it was. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was like -3 degrees or something, and it was a funny quip.
Was it? Let me guess what it might have been. What school do you hate the most besides Vandy?
That's an interesting question. Vandy's not even in the top 3 or 4.
It's Texas A&M, right?
Texas A&M, no. In terms of
probably like.
in terms of sheer hatred,
Yeah.
it's pretty close between Florida and Kentucky.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Kentucky here because I would assume.
It might be
Tennessee.
Kentucky.
So was your post like -3 degrees? What is that? The average amount of certifications you get when you graduate from UK?
It wasn't that good, but that is good.
Okay.
I wish I could remember what it was. I just
Is there a way
remember
to
it
go
was
back and find
#1.
it?
I can't imagine.
Do you have like a screenshot of it maybe?
No, I don't think so.
I want to find out. Big T's first time going viral. Yeah, well, what Arian was saying with the was it Slam Book?
Yeah, slam books.
Yeah, you basically invented Facebook.
Hi, key. Yeah.
Yeah, you would make people's profiles for them by writing their name on the top of a page and then pass it around. People post on their wall.
I remember this. One of my homeboys. There's this girl. I mean, her breath wasn't horrible, but every now and then it'd be like, "You got a kicking." Nigga said halitosis, and he drew a big smiley face with like sneaky breath. This shit was hilarious,
no.
dog. Oh
no.
shit.
There's no coming back from that.
Nah, and then you become branded as the
Yeah.
girl with the funky breath, and it's like, damn, cuz.
We had one of those too. Felt bad for her. One time I smelled her breath and it wasn't even that bad. She just had a bad day, I guess. So there were those 5 bombers in there, and McVeigh and Kaczynski developed a little bit of a friendship. McVeigh and Ramzi Youssef also developed a little bit of a friendship. Youssef, he bombed the World Trade Center back in 1993, and I guess McVeigh was like game, respect, game. It was one of those things, I guess. So somebody wrote a book about it, or he wrote a book about Timothy McVeigh. His name was Dan Herbeck. Wrote a book about Timothy McVeigh in Oklahoma City, and he compared this as having the Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein all in the same wing. That would make for. They should have made a sitcom about that.
That's a good starting point.
That would be a great sitcom, right?
If they were allowed out of the cells, be hard to.
Well, I think that they weren't necessarily in like the supermax lockdown part of it because it says that they would have conversations sometimes. Maybe
If they're not in the super lockdown, who is?
I don't know that they're like hanging out at a table, just like holding court, but maybe they were able to talk through the cell walls at times.
I guess.
But yeah, I agree with you. If they're not, how many people did McVeigh kill? A couple hundred?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that guy. I agree with you. Yeah, he should be in the hell cell. He should be in the one that drives you insane.
Timothy McVeigh killed 168 people,
Yeah, put him in
That's
there.
crazy.
Don't let him
19 of
talk
which
to
were
me.
children.
Yeah, put him in there. So McVeigh admired the fact that Ramzi Youssef, when he got up and he got sentenced, made a long speech against the U.S. government. He said, "I'm a terrorist. I'm proud of it because the U.S. government deserved what I did to them." McVeigh applauded that. He thought it was fantastic. He was kind of amazed that he would find much common ground with an Arab terrorist. So, do we want to go through the list of just go through the roster?
Let's see who they got.
Okay, let's see who they
See
got
how many
here.
5 stars.
Yeah, give me a crime.
The blue chip ratio of ADX Florence.
Are you gonna watch their huddles?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so number one right now. I don't know if this is the all-time number one, but certainly I think the number one right now. El Chapo. El Chapo's there. So he was put in there because he was in prison a couple times in Mexico. He got busted out twice, I believe. The second time he got busted out, they bought a house or rented a house that was like a mile away from the prison, and then they dug a tunnel through the basement of that house underground to his cell, and they burrowed up, cut a hole in his floor, pulled him down through it, put him on a motorcycle, and then he drove on a motorcycle all the way back to that safe house, got out, got taken out of there.
First of all, unfathomable ingenuity.
Yes.
Incredible. I don't even know how you would know to like get to his cell.
You got to take your hat off.
And then the video, because there's video from the cell of him just dropping through the floor. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. So he got out, and then he was arrested, extradited to the United States. He was convicted up in Brooklyn, and then they had like 5 different vans that left his trial, so you didn't know which one he was in because they're going to try to bust him out again. They moved him up to ADX Florence, so he's in there right now. And just recently, April 2024, El Chapo wrote to a federal judge to get his phone call and visiting privileges reinstated. He said, "Sorry to bother you again with a request that I have asked you before with regards to my wife, Emma Coronel." He wrote that to federal judge Brian Cogan in a letter dated March 20th. "I ask that you please authorize her to visit me and to bring my daughters to visit me, since my daughters can only visit me when they are on school break since they are studying in Mexico." The pleas were rejected.
Hate to see that.
I hate to see it.
Probably shouldn't have been El Chapo.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. If you had to go back and do it again, would you be El Chapo? He would probably say yes.
Yeah, I think so. Because he's not young. He's probably in his 60s.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would say right around
Maybe
60.
late 50s. Oh, he's 67.
That's older than I thought.
So, I mean, he had 40 years of living it up.
Yeah, there was El Chapo, and there was also El Flaco. El Flaco
I'm not
was
familiar with him.
he was like his actually backup.
Would you rather make $35,000 a year every year for the rest of your life, or live 30 years as an all-time drug lord, but then you do 30 more in ADX Florence?
Starting at what age?
So let's say from 20 to 50, you're in world's top drug lord, and then 50 to 80, you're in ADX Florence till you die.
World's top?
Like El Chapo, yeah.
Would I have to kill people?
You don't have to kill anyone yourself, but you've had people killed.
See, that's the thing. I think I would be down to take the 30 years if I think as a normal human being, you would feel very guilty about killing people.
You don't have to do it with your bare hands, but you've ordered
Yeah,
hits.
so see, even those 30 years I think wouldn't be that great because you'd be like, fuck, I'm a murderer. I just murdered this guy.
But you're living an unbelievable life.
If you just said, so I think I would reject that. But I would accept if I was just given the lifestyle of a drug dealer, and they knew me as the world's top drug dealer, but I was so good at dealing drugs that everyone wanted to work for me. And I never had to kill anybody.
Okay, so let's say that. So you would take that.
The world's nicest drug dealer.
Okay, you would take that deal.
I would absolutely take 30 years, 50, go to prison. I had a good run.
Okay.
And then, yeah, you can just like entertain yourself with memories of your past life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston Marathon bomber, he is also in ADX Florence. I think that was about the government like flexing their muscles and be like, fuck you, bitch, you're going to the worst place ever. I don't think he is like a super like dangerous criminal to have in jail. Like what I mean by that is I don't think that he is going to be like killing other inmates or guards. He's kind of like a little bitch. I think they were just like, we're going to make an example out of you.
Well, the brother killed everybody, right?
Yeah, the brother was the bigger guy.
Did he kill the police officer?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think the brother was the guy who was doing all this
He
stuff.
got run over by the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Zarniev is awaiting the results of an investigation into his 2015 trial. There's going to be a lower court to determine whether or not 2 jurors should be disqualified for bias. But in the meantime, he's going to be staying in ADX Florence. The Unabomber, he died June 10th, 2023. And before that, he was in that Supermax prison since May 1998 when he got 4 life sentences plus 30 years. He admitted to 16 bombings, and he's been in Florence ever since then until he died last year. So the Unabomber, he got 4 life sentences. How does that work? 4 life sentences plus 30 years.
They just tack it on to make sure you never...
Should we make that simple and just say life sentence?
Yeah, but then there's, with parole and all that stuff. I think it's for each count you have. So if they can give you a life sentence for each count, they just do it.
That way, if one of them is overturned or something, you've
Yeah.
still got the other 3 life sentences.
It's just, you may as well.
Yeah. What about Pete Rose? That was a lifetime ban.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Lifetime bans.
I think it would be. Are you saying they should put him in the Hall of Fame now?
Well, his lifetime's over.
Yeah, but I think that would be worse.
Yeah.
If they just waited till he died and then they're like, okay, now you can go in the Hall of Fame.
That
Like,
was so mean.
yeah.
Are there any schools nearby the Hall of Fame? He might not be allowed. I don't know.
Is he not allowed in schools?
I don't know. He's got some sketchy stuff.
Oh, well,
Great baseball player.
He's passed on.
Fantastic baseball player.
I mean, there's probably a school in Cooperstown.
yeah.
Amazing town for anyone
Amazing
that's
town.
never been.
Best place
Best
ever.
place ever.
Wouldn't bring him around any high schoolers.
Really?
But yeah, I would. But great baseball player.
Really good.
He had more singles than Babe Ruth had hits.
That checks out.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. If Hank Aaron never hit a home run, he still would have had 3,000 hits.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
McVeigh, he was in there until he was executed in 2001. Terry Nichols got 161 consecutive lifetime sentences for his role in Oklahoma City.
So I assume that's 1 per person that was killed. So that's 1 per count
Yeah.
is what they usually do.
And then McVeigh, he was the mastermind behind it. Again, throwing some shade at Nichols there.
Yeah.
McVeigh's always called the mastermind.
Yeah. It's tough.
That would suck if you.
That's what I'm saying. You should not sign up for that gig.
Yeah, don't.
You shouldn't be Ted Kaczynski either.
Or McVeigh.
Timothy McVeigh, yeah, or Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah.
Because Ted Kaczynski's a piece of shit and a communist.
I think he's an eco-fascist.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is kind of right wing.
No, it's not.
Eco-fascism is right wing.
If you read his stuff, he is not right wing.
Some of it is extreme left, some of it is extreme right.
Nevertheless, Timothy McVeigh, don't be him either, but definitely don't be the guy that also helps kill 160 people and you're the sidekick.
And you're not the mastermind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ramzi Youssef and Mahmoud Abu Halima, they were the guys that did the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. That's when Biggie says blow up like the World Trade, and he put that out in the late 90s. That's what he's talking about, kids. He's not predicting 9/11, or maybe he was.
It's crazy that it had just happened.
What if Diddy did 9/11? That's how Biggie knew to put it in there. Think about it.
Could be.
Did we just uncover some shit?
You may have.
Diddy bombs the city. You
Fuck.
remember when he ran the marathon? Diddy runs the city.
No, I thought you just made up that.
No,
right now.
It was called Diddy Runs the City, and he just did a marathon with no training, I think, and everybody just sucked his dick afterwards. They're like, the amount of guts and grit this took for him to just do a marathon like this. Diddy's an inspiration for everybody. It's crazy. So yeah, the World Trade Center in 1993, it was a nitrate hydrogen gas bomb, weighed 1,000 pounds, and they blew it up in the parking garage of the North Tower. 6 people died, 1,000 people injured, and those 2 guys got life sentences plus 240 years and 67 years respectively. So 6 out of the 7 got caught. There's one more. If you see something, say something. If you know where Abdul Rahman Yassin is, the FBI is offering up to $5 million for anything that leads directly to his arrest. How about that? Be a bounty hunter. Go get this guy. Go make some money. Bootstraps.
I feel like, much like the longshoreman, you should be able to negotiate that up. If you actually find a world-renowned terrorist, I mean, listen, $5 million, nothing to shake a stick at, but guess what? As soon as they give that to you, they're taking 2.5.
Ask for it without taxes.
Yeah, so
Cash.
I would do $5 million cash.
Untaxable.
Yeah. So then just say we'll do 10, and then you can take your fucking 5 back. Like
Yep.
the assholes you are.
That sounds good. There's Eric Rudolph. We talked about the whole Richard Jewell thing. By the way, Paul Walter Hauser, the guy that plays Richard Jewell, my favorite actor. He's so good.
He's the guy from Blackbird.
Yeah, he's such a good actor. I want there to be a stock market or some way I can gamble on actors because I want to put a lot of money on him winning Best Actor at some point in his life.
So you want Oscars futures.
I want a future on a movie that hasn't been made. That's not even it hasn't been written yet. I just know that he's going to win Best Actor at
I
some
think
point.
you'll still be able to get good odds even if he's ever nominated.
No, because he's going to be so good. It's going to be okay. This guy wins.
Maybe, but I think I don't know that he'll ever be a favorite. I think you'll still have a good shot.
I would even put money on him being a favorite at some point to be Best Actor.
I like that.
That's how much I believe in this guy. I'm making like synthetic CBOs or whatever, like Big Short, but for Oscars futures right now. I can bet on whether or not I can bet on this guy.
You want to know a ticket I'm holding right now? Ashton Genty Heisman 50-1.
That's a nice ticket.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good ticket.
And I don't bet a lot of futures, but that one I'm very excited about.
It's a great ticket. Unfortunately, he's the second best college football player.
Who, Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter's the best.
Genty's numbers are going to be insane, though.
Travis Hunter's numbers are going to be insane.
They'll be really good.
He's
not
the-
going to rush for 2,500 yards.
He's the best cornerback and I would say third best receiver.
Third best receivers overselling it. He's outstanding. He should be 1 or 2 in Heisman favorite right now.
Okay.
But I'm rooting for
50-1's nice.
rooting for my guy Ashton.
I got Travis at 20-1. He's down to I
He's
think
like
7.5.
750.
Yeah, 750 right now. There's Barry Mills. He's the leader of the Arian Brotherhood. He died in 2018. He was in there. He started a race war against the DC Blacks. In March 2006, Charles Hartzell, a Las Vegas member and leader of the Las Vegas section, along with 3 other leaders of the Arian Brotherhood, including Bingham and Tyler Bingham and Barry Mills, were indicted for numerous crimes: murder, conspiracy, drug trafficking, racketeering. Barry and Tyler were convicted of murder, sent back to ADX Florence after they were given life sentences with no parole. There's H. Rap Brown, former Black Panther Party Minister of Justice. That's a cool title, isn't it? Minister of Justice in a gang.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good defensive lineman.
Yeah,
Would get that name, the Minister of Justice.
I like that. Yeah. So he was sentenced to life. He's in ADX Florence as well. He's one of their more notorious guys. There's Zacharias Moussaoui. He's the 20th hijacker? Is that what they call him? He was in the 9/11 plot, but he got arrested in August 2001 when he went to flight school and his flight instructor reported the suspicious behavior to the FBI. And he's the guy that said, I don't care about taking off. I don't care about landing. Just show me how to fly the plane. And he had zero background in aviation, didn't have a pilot's license, and he paid $6,300 in cash. And he is the only person that's been convicted of a crime for 9/11 in a United States court.
Should have been a red flag. I don't care about taking off or landing.
In this case, it was. But the other guys that did the same thing, they were just like, oh, that's fine. He just wants to fly the plane. That's nice. One of the co-founders of Al-Qaeda, Mamdouh Salim, he helped bomb the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania in 1998. So he was in Manhattan Federal Jail in 2000 for a role in the embassy bombings. And then he sprayed hot sauce into a guard's eye. And then he stabbed him in the left eye with a shank, penetrated his brain. They had to take the guard's eyeball out, and his other eye doesn't really work that well anymore. And he's pretty much paralyzed on the right side of his body because of the brain injury. So he was deemed a danger to prison staff, and he was put in ADX Florence, lifetime sentence. John Walker Lind, do you remember that guy?
Never heard of him.
The American Taliban member. This guy was all over the news back in, I want to say, 2004 or so. No, 2002. So John Walker Lind was a convert to Sunni Islam in California when he turned 16. Then he went to Yemen in 1998, and he studied Arabic, and he stayed there for 10 months. He returned in 2000. Then he went to Afghanistan to help the Taliban. He was an American guy, and he was just like, you know what? I dig what you guys are doing over there. I want to be part of your movement. So he went over to join up with the Taliban. He got training at a Al-Qaeda training camp. At the camp, he attended a lecture by Osama bin Laden. After 9/11, he was there, and he joined their military forces when he learned that the U.S. was allied with the Northern Alliance. So he fought against the United States. They brought him back. They put him to trial in February 2002. He got a plea bargain. He pleaded guilty to 2 charges and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. He was released on supervision May 23rd, 2019. John Walker Lind is out there somewhere. The American Taliban.
17 years at this place and then going back out into society's got to be wild.
That's a crazy 17 years, too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the Taliban.
Yeah.
You get released and you're like, wait, we're back?
Yeah, I mean, what a time to come out.
Yeah. So he missed a lot of stuff in the 2000s.
Yeah.
The world changed.
Do you think they have like TVs or anything in there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Like how much? Also, imagine just like going to prison at all in 2000 from 01 to 19. Like you've never seen an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen like all sorts of crazy stuff, let alone all that's happened.
He turns on an NFL game. What happened to the game I used to love? What is this nonsense? You can't hit anybody anymore.
Imagine if you got out of prison right now and you saw the NFL kickoff.
Yeah, you'd be like, fuck this.
What would be going through your head?
Utter woke nonsense.
Yeah, because of woke.
He gets out of prison. He's like, all right, what's up with Diddy? Let's see what Diddy's up to these days.
Any new albums?
Yeah. He was the GOAT. He's my GOAT. Richard Reed, he's in there too. He's the shoe bomber. So he's the reason why you have to take your shoes off at an airport. This one guy.
This guy's a piece of shit.
This guy might be the worst of them all.
The worst of them all.
Might be the worst of them all. December 2001, it was right after 9/11, obviously, just a couple months. He put a bunch of C4 and shit into the soles of his shoes. And he was taking a trip from Paris to Miami. He tried to light them on fire. You can have a lighter on a plane at this point. Tried to light them on fire. The passengers knocked him out and beat the fuck out of him. If you want to look at a picture of him after he got arrested that day, he's like in the back of a squad car and his face is just completely swollen. Just beat the passengers, did some serious work on that guy. So he got charged with 8 counts of terrorism, got 3 life sentences, and in addition to that, 110 years with no parole. That dude, if it had worked, he would have killed probably 200 people. It didn't work, but because of this one guy, now everyone's like, you might put explosive in your shoes. Let's take a look at those shoes.
But now it's just whatever they feel that day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take your shoes off. Sometimes, fuck it, we don't leave them on. Sometimes you do the scanner that shows your dick. Sometimes it's just go through the metal detector. I am teed off now. The TSA, it's just whatever they feel like that day.
Yeah.
And then if you have TSA pre-check, which is just like, I promise not to be a terrorist, you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's a farce.
And sometimes you're in the line to go through the dick scanning machine, and then the TSA agent's just like, you can just go through the x-ray.
Yeah.
Just like randomly.
Just go.
You're good.
Yeah.
You probably aren't a terrorist, yeah. It is weird. And
Either have the rules and do them or don't have them.
This motherfucker, Richard Reed, you should just check your shoes when you get to the airport. Just be like, here are my shoes.
Just go shoeless?
Just go shoe. Yeah, just go
Through an
shoeless
airport?
the entire time, yeah. This motherfucker, Richard Reed, and we're so stupid. We did this completely as a reactionary thing to one guy trying to blow up his shoes. And we're like, okay, no shoes ever that we don't check getting onto a plane.
To be fair, I want to be safe on a plane.
Yeah.
But just be consistent. Either do it or don't.
Yeah, there was well, how about this guy? The underwear bomber. Do you remember this guy? It was on Christmas.
Vaguely, yeah.
It was on Christmas. He was flying from Amsterdam to Detroit, and he had a bomb in his underwear. And when he was on there, I think it was on descent. It was like it was about to land, and he tried to ignite the bomb, and it started smoking. His underwear started smoking, and all the passengers around were like, "What the fuck's going on? Why is your underwear on fire?" And so they tackled him. They detained him. There were 289 people that were on board, and it would have killed all of them. He was convicted of 8 counts of federal crimes, attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction, attempted murder. But they don't say you got to take your underwear off when you're getting on board a plane, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. One day. There's a guy named Larry Hoover. He was a founder of the Gangster Disciples. A pretty prominent street gang. Still active to this day. Kanye West tried to get him out. He met with Trump in 2018. And then in December 2021, Kanye and Drake threw a free Larry Hoover benefit concert at the LA Coliseum. The concert was ineffective. He's still in ADX. He's serving 6 life sentences there. There's Charles Harrison. Do you know about Charles Harrison? This is a crazy story.
No.
He is, I believe, the father of Woody Harrelson. So he was convicted of assassinating a federal judge. He was the first federal judge to get killed in the 20th century. And in No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy, the sheriff says, here a while back in San Antonio, they shot and killed a federal judge. That's a reference to Judge Wood Jr. And Woody Harrelson starred in the 2007 film adaptation of No Country for Old Men. Isn't that interesting?
Cormac McCarthy, University of Tennessee.
And teach them how to use punctuation. Big T, you had one guy that you wanted to talk about a little bit. Robert Hansen. Yeah. What's up, Mad Dog?
Never mind. I just wanted to confirm that it is father and son.
Yep.
Yeah, Robert Hansen, he was, I saw a TikTok on this guy and he fascinated me. So he was the biggest spy that we've ever had in the FBI. So he got recruited by the Russians in the 80s or early 90s. Mm-hmm. And so he became a very prolific spy for them, working deep in the FBI. And the FBI caught on that somebody was, the Russians had information that there's no way they could have. So it was actually him and another guy that were working simultaneously, and they found the other guy. So he thought he was clear. And then some information still gets out, and they're like, there might be another guy. Eventually, the U.S. paid somebody in Russia who eventually gave up Hansen's name. And he had told them about, we were planning to build a secret tunnel under the Russian embassy in D.C. And he had told them about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so eventually, after they figured out that he was still doing it, they gave him a promotion and put him in a new fancy office that they had bugged with cameras and mics. And then they got him and arrested him, and he went to this place. The biggest problem I have with this guy, aside with being a KGB spy, for like 20 years of spying for the Russians, what do you think that's worth?
20 years.
Of putting your life at risk.
Okay, so if he just did it for the money, or I don't know if maybe they had dirt on him, and they're like, we'll pay you, but
potentially
you have to keep doing this, because if you don't, then we're going to expose you. 20 years working as a spy for the Russians during the peak of the Cold War. I would need in those days dollars, I'd need probably at least $1 million a year.
I was going to say 30 or 40, not a year total, so that's not too far. He received $1.4 million.
So what does that break down to per year?
$100,000?
Yeah, this guy's a fucking moron.
Could have been a longshoreman.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
made more than that.
That's bad. That's bad. That's maybe the worst thing that he did. He didn't believe in himself.
Yeah, talk about the art of the deal. I mean,
was he the guy that gave up the cable that we had, the secret cable? We were intercepting all their shit, and we were like communicating. I think it was like underneath the Atlantic Ocean or something. We had a cable that ran from maybe DC to London or DC to Berlin. And so there was one guy that worked, I think, for the FBI that was telling Rush about this. So they knew everything that we were doing.
By the way, it was 25 years. It was 76 to 01. So that's like 50 grand a year.
That's bad.
That's crazy.
Fuck that guy.
He they arrested him right after he did I think they're called a cold drop, where he would, like, you know, back in the 80s and 90s.
Dead drop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he would go to a park or something and leave a stack of papers that someone would come pick up. And so they had followed him to there, and there's video of him getting arrested, and he's walking back up like a residential street, and he gets swarmed. And that's awesome. They take his ass.
I love old school, like, spy tradecraft.
Yeah.
Where you walk past this mailbox and then you mark it with a piece of chalk, and that means that you've dropped the dossier underneath the park bench. And some other guy comes up in a trench coat and gets it. The Spy Museum kicks ass.
It looks really cool from the outside. I've never been in it.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And when FBI people and CIA people talk to you about like all the different spy shit they used to do, I don't know how much of that is just them blowing smoke up their own ass to make themselves seem cooler, but it sounds like the most fun job ever.
I mean, it's got to be pretty sick.
It's got to be a great job. And it's so good that you don't even get paid that much compared to like putting your life on the line. If you work for the CIA for like 30 years, you make a good amount of money. Don't get me wrong. And if you stick around for long enough, then you get some benefits. You get a pension maybe, but it's not like risk death every day living over in Tajikistan money. You know, so the thrill of doing that job must be so intoxicating that you just can't quit. You're like, I could get paid more in the private sector. But at the end of the day, there's something about just like getting in a car chase once a week that I love.
And just to be able to tell people, like, when they ask what you do, be like, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Yeah, or you get to make up a lie to everybody. That's kind of nice. I'm an astronaut. That's what I would say. All right, so Robert Hansen, he died last year, but he was in ADX Florence.
A lot of people in ADX die in the last couple years.
Yeah, it's true. We got to replenish the crop. El Chapo's probably going to live for a while, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
And then there was Harold James Nicholson. He was a former CIA officer. He was convicted of spying for the KGB twice. His recruitment was in the wake of a much publicized arrest of a senior CIA officer, and he was a mole named Aldrich Ames in February 1994, which, in the words of CIA veteran and author Tenant Bagley, had exposed extraordinary slackness of CIA security procedures. That might be the guy that was responsible for letting the Russians know about this thing that we had. And then when we found out, maybe I'm getting it the other way around. There was something about a secret wire. Maybe it was going from Berlin, East Berlin to Moscow. But anyway, somebody found out that the other side knew about the cable. And then they kept using that cable for like the next 15 years, but saying false information over it and just fucking up everybody.
Nice.
See, I like that trade craft. I like that weird spy shit. It's interesting. All right. Well, that's ADX Florence. What a roster. It's like the Avengers.
Very high blue chip ratio.
Yeah.
Almost all 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah. SEC.
Yeah.
ADX Florence could get to the SEC for sure.
Prime Bama.
Yeah. I would say like prime the U.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Do you see that? I want to give credit to Kevin Clark because he put this out on Twitter. They're calling Cal versus Miami woke versus Coke.
Yep.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. College game day.
I want the wokest signs ever for Cal fans there.
People are saying Corso's going to put on Karl Marx's head.
I love that.
Yeah.
That would rock. Yeah, atheist versus convicts.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay, so we will see you guys next Tuesday on Macrodosing. And until then, love you guys.